the process will be stopped. If it not, it will process to checkout, and then fill the address. After that, fill the payment method, and then place an order. After place an order, if user want to pay now, it will process and it will show pay successfully, and then the process is stopped. If not, the process will be finished. Now let's move to the conclusion. In conclusion, I will show the result, difficulty, experience, and the perspective. For the result, I complete the entire task that I assigned, except deploying the app to the hero group. You can see the green color dedicated to my work I complete, and the red dedicated to the work that I am not complete. For the difficulty, I struggle to learn about the project structure, and then I struggle to learn Bootstrap UI and the API authentication. Another one, I am new to React and unexperienced with backend. Last one, I find it struggle to deploy the app. For the experience, I have learned more about the fundamental and the use of the React and its component. I also learned about the backend and learn more about the API as well as UI design. Besides that, I also learned to manage time and have more responsible for the project I work on. In my perspective, I want to add new features such as sorting, filtering, and notification if I have more time to invest on it. Second, I want to improve the authentication method and user interface. I want to link the register or log into any social media account as well. And finally, yet importantly, I want to finish the incomplete test. That's all for my presentation. Let's move to the demonstration part. Hello everyone, welcome to the demonstration part. Let's jump into the profile. In this profile, you can see my order list and my user information. In the middle, you can see the ID of product, the date of purchase, the total price, and the paid date, and the delivery status. This means that this item already delivered to my address on this date, and this one indicates that this item haven't delivered to my address yet. You can check more detail when you click on this. On the left side, you can see the user information, and you can also change your information in here as well. Now let's change to this. So my information has been changed, and you can see the change in here as well. Let's go to the cart screen. For now, my shopping cart is empty because I haven't added any product to it yet. So let's go to the home page and select one of the items. I will choose this one. And in this, I can also give a review and rating. Now I will choose 3 and comment. So my review is submitted successfully. Let's refresh and see. This is my name, and this is the date that I review, and this is my comment, and this is the star that I give. Let's add the product to cart. You can also see the quantity of the product only have 5, so it means that this item only have 5 in the store. And here you can change the quantity again. I will choose 2, and you can also delete from the cart. Now let's proceed to check out. In the screen, you need to fill the address. Now I will fill the custom address that I have made before, and select the random, select this. And now you can see the overall information of my shipping address, the payment method, and my item that I order. And here is the order summary. You can see the item price, shipping, and the tag, and the total price. After I place an order, I can see 2 setup, not delivered and not paid. Now I will pay with this PayPal. So after I make a pay, it will appear the status like this, that my order already paid on this date. Now let's go to the admin part. In admin, there's an admin panel that you can manage user, product, and order. Now I will go to the user first, and this one you can see the account that have been registered to this website. I want to delete this account because it's anonymous and it's now I will delete this. And I want to modify the user to become an admin. So I will click on this one and update. Now this user already become an admin like this user. Now let's go back to the product. I will create one product with the name of shoe, price of 50, and choose the image. Brand none. Stop to 10. Sample to people. So I already create a product. Now let's go to the homepage and see. This is my product that I just made. You can see the name, the brand, price, category, and description, and the quantity is 10. Let's modify the information of this product. Change the name to Ahmed, price to 40, and brand to A, current stock to 5, make update, and test update. Let's go back and check. So now you see the shoe update, the brand A, price 40, category to sneaker update, description to test update, and the quantity only have 5.
That took another step. You should let the link.
This product. I will delete this product and you will no longer see this product in second page anymore. Now let's go to the order. This is the list of the order that have been made in this account. I choose this one. For this one, haven't delivered to this address yet. Now I will mark as an order. So this order already delivered to this address. Now let's see in the actual account of this user. So I just made this user become an admin a moment ago. So you can see the admin panel right here. And now let's go and change and see the order. In here you can see the deliver section on because I just marked an order deliver and now it already delivered to this address. This is all of my demonstration. Thank you for listening to me and I wish you all good luck.
Okay. លោកគ្រូអ្នកគ្រូចប់ហើយមានសំណួរ Hello 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 so any question from our jury? Okay, maybe I can start first. So thank you for the presentation. My first question is about the before you start the implementation, have you conducted any study on the existing applications with similar features?
Yes, sure. I used to watch many tutorials in the YouTube, and I think they made a good implementation. So I get some inspiration from them as well.
So there are already a lot of e-commerce applications, and also they are available. They are publicly available, and the code and the implementation as well. So the application that you have developed, what are the main features that you want to focus on, that you want to showcase? I mean, what are the differences from like the other existing application if we compare it, we compare them to your application?
I think the difference is that mine is more interactive, and I plan on working on the user interface more because I think the attractive is more important for e-commerce. Yeah. And for the many other function, I guess it's still the same because in all the e-commerce, it doesn't need to be changed much.
Okay. I saw that you have also included a payment feature with PayPal. Can you explain to us a little bit more? How can you integrate PayPal into your the payment system of your application?
Actually, I use the NPM PayPal, and I use Sandbox of PayPal development tool from the website, and I I'm not quite sure about this, but I used to watch many reference and many tutorial that they will teach me, and it's I implement from them, and I guess it worked here.
I'm not sure. For example, if you want to do transaction with PayPal, so like the owner of the shop will need to have the PayPal account as well, right? So like you have a user in, for example, to play a role as an administrator in the application. So like I mean, does every admin user have their own PayPal account, or how can you manage that, or like one for one application for the whole application, it corresponds to only like one PayPal account? Because when the customer when they purchase the products, they have to pay using their own PayPal accounts. But so
if you pay to one PayPal account and the account is the admin account, because because the admin account is the main account of the website.
But in your system, you can have multiple admin accounts. And I'm not sure if there is an information about the PayPal account attached to each admin account. I didn't see it in your demo.
For the PayPal account, I think it's more advanced to put the specific account to run a transaction. But I will, based on my experience, my knowledge, I would think that if it actually happened, I think it is a one only transaction to one account, and the account that share too many admin as well.
Okay, so yeah, it's okay. My last question, yes, exactly on this slide, the cart here is like the list of products that the customer want to purchase, right? Why is there no relationship between cart and products? Because we have to know like in the cart, so one cart represents one order, right? So we have to know like how many products are added into the cart.
Probably this one I made a mistake because I think the same. However, when I check the mistake, I already submit the with our presentation already.
So in the actual system, in the actual database, there is a relationship between cart and products.
Yes, sure.
Okay, yeah. So that is all for me.
Thank you for asking, teacher.
Yes, thank you. The other juries, any question?
Mimi, thank you, teacher, for your. Do you hear me? I'm Dean.
Yes,
Yes.
we hear you.
Okay. And thank you for your presentation. In your presentation, you told us that you was struggling on the project structure because it was your first time. But I want to know whether you use any framework on your React.js or you start building your own structure to start this project.
I'm for framework. I use Redux, and this one is an. I would say that I work from scratch, but I don't I implementation from many reference I found on internet, and that I think it will be work out for my project.
Have you ever heard about the most popular one about the React.js, which is a boilerplate called React Create React App?
Yes, I heard it.
And another one, do you know the Net.js, which is a project structure or a boilerplate that built on the top of React.js?
Yes, but I never tried it before or experienced it before.
Yes, that is the problem when we try to design building on any framework. We should do the research on those frameworks. Like, for example, for the React.js, when you start from scratch and you build your own structure, I mean, like your application try to run and render your website on the front side, but now they release another version. We call it Next.js, which is very important for the React.js, that every content render from the server side, that when they compare between those two boilerplate or two frameworks, they show a very different design. So my idea, I suggest you when you want to try, when you try to build a project on React.js, you should consider on the Next.js, which is one of the framework built the top of the React.js.
Thank you, teacher. I will try it better for my next project.
Yeah, and another one, I also have concern a lot, like teacher Donna, about the payment method, that you have to make sure that you really understand the process of the payment. And also, you work as a group.
Yes.
Do you really apply the Git into your development flow?
Yeah, I also yeah, teacher, I do.
You try the Git?
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about the Git, how you work on it, and how you solve the problem when you have the conflict between your group?
Normally, when I finish doing my work, I commit my project to the Git, and then I tell my teammate to what I have been working on, and we discuss about what to do next. And then my teammate he would also push the project as well, but as a branch, and that's how we cover our work.
Okay, tell me, have you ever encountered any conflict between both of you? Like, example, you commit your code and you push it to the Git master, and then your friend try to do something on the same line, and then your friend try to commit it to your brand, and then you will find the conflict. and how you deal with it, like how you solve the problem.
For my case, I haven't encountered it yet, so I'm not quite sure. But if this happen, I would be discussed about it and ask for a reason.
Actually, for the kids, is like it's a version control. Sometimes you don't need to discuss with the teammate. You just try to understand your work and your friend's work, and you can deal it by yourself. Anyway, that I just want to point out, because when you work in school, you miss maybe a lot of things that the company usually do, and that is maybe during working at school, you maybe you it's good if you know some development method that they use in the company, because when you go to the company, you may find something new. And my last question is about the UI design. You design it by yourself, or you just pick up any template from the internet?
For UI design, I use a custom Bootstrap UI, and I change some of the components, such as search button or something like that. I don't change much because I think it waste of time to redesign on the CSS, because there are only 2 months for me to do the project, and I guess there are a lot of work to do more than it. So choose this way.
I see. Okay, thank you. Thank you, teacher. That's all for me.
Thank you, teacher, for asking.
Can I have more question? Do we reach the time yet?
Yeah, maybe like only one or two short questions. Yeah.
1 or 2 short questions. Okay. I just want to ask you, do you understand the real concept of what is e-commerce? This is one question.
That's all.
Wait. And the second question, what are the difference by the color on this schema?
Let me answer the first question first. Based on my knowledge, I think the e-commerce system is something that we can post or sell online, that include technology, something like technology, mobile phone or any more. But in this case, I would rather use the online shop, because it's more easier for me to work on. And for the second question, the difference is that the guests do not need to log in, do not need to register the account or log in to use our website. And for the customer, they need they have the account, and they have more function to do.
Okay, so I just wonder, and those features are your responsible feature, or everyone in your team work on that?
For this one, the blue is my responsible, and the white is not.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So you work on the user management, right?
Yes.
Do you exactly work on it, or you have used any plugin or the existing features on the user management?
I don't understand what you ask.
Okay, let's say like how do you manage the user management? What are the function or features that require in the user management?
In the user management, for my first purpose, I think that when I start build this one, I think I want to modify the user, that I could change him into the admin or not, and I could delete the user from my database, and maybe I can do something more with the feature function, but I'm not thinking of anything yet. That's why I put on two first. And for this one, I also learned from many different I found on internet as well.
What do you find? What did you find? What did you find on the internet about the user management? You mentioned many times like you found everything.
For this one, I found the CRUD operation like create, read, update, and delete, and I think the only operation that would work for only these four, and that's why I implement into my project.
Okay, you implemented it good, but it is maybe less impact or more impact on the project, because when you say user management, it's quite a little bit big module or feature in the system, because you might have different role in your system, so you need user management to assign different role, different scope or permission in your system. So if you just if you just create user, update user, and delete user, it might not be a complete user management. Okay, so because of the time limit, I think I have only this question, but I'm interested in the project, and I also have more questions, but since the time is limited, let's move to the next presentation. And thank you for your presentation.
Thank you, teacher.
Okay, I think no more question for the first presentation because we have already reached the time limit. I'm sorry for the other juries who might have question but don't have the chance to ask. Yes, so for the next presentation, yes, it is the same topic. So the second presentation is of Mr. Chan Bonnet. The same topic as the previous presentation, system de commerce électronique. And yeah, for I think maybe we can yes, I may have to ask all juries during the Q&A session to limit the question to at most 2 questions. Yeah, and if you have time, you can ask more. Yes, at the end. Yes, because for the previous presentation, we have 10 minutes past the time. Yeah, and sorry as well because in the previous presentation I asked a lot as well. So, yes.
បងណាដែរបងអាពេល share screen ហ្នឹងមុនទៀតបងឯងចុចទៅវាមានដាក់ include computer sound ណាយើងមិនបាច់ចាំ record ចេញពីខាងក្រៅវិញអានោះវាអាច noise បងឯងលើចុចលើប៊ូតុង share អាខាងលើវាដាក់ include computer sound បងចាកន្លែងហ្នឹងវាច្បាស់ចឹង
ខ្ញុំ share អញ្ចឹងតែលើកនេះអត់ដឹងថាជួបខ្ញុំមើលសិនគេលោដោយសារតែខ្ញុំប្រើលើ Ubuntu include computer sound ដូចអត់មានកន្លែងដាក់ផង
អត់ទេពេលបណ្ណាតឯង share ទៅបានឃើញ
អញ្ចឹងអូខេអូខេ Lên screen đó luôn. Nó bị admin cái này ơi set ha share with computer.
Share with nó mới tay mình lại setting như lại lừa mình khơi mặt plate mình.
Wait. Sạc đá sẵn của nhung trong nhung tăng khối của một khách đi.
Hello teacher and everyone. I'd like to express my presentation about the e-commerce system. My name is Chan Buni. Especially, I would like to share to my supervisor, Mr. Kong Baklan. For the projects, I'm working with my friend Rachan Rebon. The project overview, analyze, and consulting. First, I would like to talk about the internship overview. July to 29 September 2021. Institute of Technology of Overview. For project overview such as what is
Và ná định bật sầm lên được. Lên lưu sầm lên nhảy.
Alo Văn Á,ដូចជាអត់ឮសលេងណាជួយឮតែសលេងខ្យល់ពី microphone បណ្ណាតមកប៉ុន្តែសលេងកុំព្យូទ័រដូចជាអត់ចូលណា
Alo Văn Á, nơi ta lử. Alo. Alo អ្នកផ្សេងឮដែរខ្ញុំអត់ឮ
លឺព្រោះបាត់តបងវណ្ណា
ខ្ញុំអត់ឮដែរសលេងវីដេអូហ្នឹងអត់ឮផងប៉ុន្តែឮសលេងខ្យល់ចេញពីមិចផុសបណ្ណាតមកវិញ
ហើយជាបណ្ណាតប្រើ Mac ហ្នឹងពិបាក control មានណាប្រើ Windows អាចមាន content ហ្នឹងអាច share វិញទៅ
បណ្ណាតប្រើ Ubuntu តា Ubuntu នៅអត់ដើរស្រួលទេ តតែអ្នកប្រើ Windows បានអាចប្រហែលជា share ស្រួលជាង
ដល់ណាមាន file ហ្នឹងឯង share ពីដងឯងវិញ Windows share ពី Mac ពី Ubuntu បាក់ share
អ៊ីនធឺណិតខ្ញុំនៅទាំងវាយ៉ាប់បន្តិច share វីដេអូ
បើនិយាយផ្ញើ link មកខ្ញុំអាច download ហើយ share
បាទលោកគ្រូចាំ plate វណ្ណាត់អាចសាក់លបងជួយបិទ share មកខ្ញុំសាក់ share វិញបើវាដើរអត់
វណ្ណាត់បែប microphone មានបញ្ហាអត់ឮវណ្ណាត់ឯងនិយាយមក
ទាំងអស់គ្នាចាំទាំងអស់គ្នាមានឮសលេងចេញពីវីដេអូនេះអត់
អត់ផង
អត់ឮទេ
អត់ដែរហ៎
easily.
Planning.
First week is understanding the analysis and plan.
អញ្ចឹងឥឡូវហ្នឹងខ្ញុំសុំ download វីដេអូកូនសិស្សមិញវិញតិចមិញហ្នឹងឈ្មោះអីចេះមិញហ្នឹង
ចាន់ប៊ុនណេត
ចាន់ប៊ុនណេតអូខេចាំ play ខ្ញុំសុំ download បន្តិចទេវីដេអូគេទូចល្អមែនតែ20មេ
ឬក៏ live stream ហ្មងបាទនេះ
មកអីបងអ៊ីនធឺណិតតែខ្ញុំលឿនណាអ៊ីនធឺណិតតែខ្ញុំចង់100មេហើយ
ចង់លឿនរបស់គេមែន
អូខេខ្ញុំ share តែឲ្យតាពេលតើអ្នកគ្នាលឺអត់
អូខេដែរអត់
ណាលឺអត់ទេ
ឬសលេងបាននិយាយមានដាក់ include អីគេ
អូនេះ
implementation conclusion and demonstration
អូខេលើបានទេអរគុណ
អូខេចាប់ដើម
Hello teacher and everyone. I would like to express my presentation about the e-commerce system. My name is Chan Bonit. Especially, I would like to send to my supervisor, Mr. Kong Popala. For the project, I'm working with my friend Rachan Rebot. Here is the content of my project, such as internship overview, project overview, analyze and consulting, implementation, conclusion, and demonstration. First, I would like to talk about the internship overview. My internship is from 21 July to 29 September 2021. And here is the contact info of signal of what is e-commerce system, objective, planning, project feature, task division, problem. What is e-commerce system? E-commerce system is an online shopping website application that provides users can order products such as clothes, shoes, and other products. Objective of the project. Objective of customer can order product that they want from website and secure payment and account and can place an order on mobile application. Objective of owner can management product, user, and order. Here is the planning of the project from week 1 to week 10. Week 1, we have some meeting and discuss about the project such as program language that we want to use. From week 2 to week 7, we have to be on the UI and a backend server. And week 8, we have testing the website. And week 9, we have a feedback. And week 10, we rebuild UI interface. Project feature. Here is the project feature. Customer have user and application, setting, and order, product, and general. For admin has a product, user, and other. Here is the test division. For me, I'm focused on the homepage, login, register, and other detail screen, set product screen, and product detail screen, and about us and contact page. For the problem of the project, customer can missing or fake product review and not having a flexible return policy. For the owner, most of in delivery in 2 or 3 days, customer don't like to waiting when they shopping online. The analyze and concepting. For this part, we have a use diagram and UK diagram and technology and tool. For UK diagram, a guest can view homepage about us and contact, login, register, can view the product detail screen, can search product detail screen. If a guest want to become the customer, they can register account, and after they become to the customer, they can view profile, logout, educate, place an order screen, order detail screen, read and review, payment screen, shipping screen, card, and setting. For the admin can user management, product management, and order management. Technology and tool. Technology we use React for the UI framework, and Express and Node.js for the backend server, and MongoDB is the database. For tool, we have GitHub for the sharing code, sharing project, and Visual Studio Code for the IDE, Postman for the testing API, and cloud platform Heroku. For the implement have such as project structure and sort product screen and other detail screen. Project structure, we have back end, front end, upload, and env. For the env is environment file of the project. Back end is so-called server side. Front end is the you build to build all UI, and upload for use to store or picture or product that will be put in the website. And here the sort production. When the customer import name cloud that they want, if no, if has no item, yes, it's no item. Then customer can choose item that they want. They can review or add to cart. If they want to review, they can rating product and comment. And order detaching. Customer can go to cart and say so, and if we show item that they was add to cart. Customer can delete some item or they can proceed to check out. When they say to proceed to check out, they can input address and method payment. If we show the summary method payment and shipping order, shipping and order item, and then they can place an order. Fine. For the conclusion, result, and difficult experience and perspective. Here is the result of the project: incomplete and complete. For the because for me, I'm difficult with the UI design And backend server, I have no experience with React before. For experience, I have new experience with React and API, and more something new with MongoDB and backend server. Learn many new technology. And Perfectio, I will improve myself to build the system more feature. I will redesign your UI interface. It's time to demonstration. Uh, when guests can view the homepage, and they can view the product details, but they can buy the clothes. Yeah, if they want to buy the clothes, or item, they can sign in. Yeah, if they can register when they don't have a account, they can register. Yeah, when they can register already, they can log in account, and they can log in account here. For me, I create account already. I can sign in. Yeah. Uh, when customer want to buy the another product, they can click on the product, and they can rating the product review and comment. Can submit. Yeah, and if they want to buy the product, they can add to cart. Yeah, and then when they want to buy another item, they can choose another item like shoe. Yeah, they can add to cart. Yeah, when they want to delete some item from add to cart, they can delete it. But I don't want to delete it. I want to process the checkout. They will show you the shipping address. Yes, it continue. Yeah, it is the method, payment method. Here is the product that customer want to buy, and here is the total, and customer can place an order. To teacher and everyone.
Okay, thank you for the presenter. Right, you have a good presentation. Just let me have one or two question, please. Um, you mentioned only about the back end and UI, and what is the middleware or API that you use to connect between your back end and UI or front page?
Sorry, teacher, can you ask me?
What is the middleware or API that you use to connect between the back end and the front end?
For this part, um, my friend written report is uh, for API.
So API is for your friend.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, so thank you then. And I don't have any question. I just want to have a small comment regarding to your presentation about this part, about the result part. I think this one is very important. If possible, I think you should explain this your complete task a little more, okay? Because we also want to focus on your result as well.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you. And other jury, you may have a question, please.
Yes, thank you for the presentation. I have only one question. Yes, like in this page, one of the features that you are in charge of is the product search screen. So you have to develop like a searching algorithm. So can you elaborate a little bit more about how can you implement a search function in your application?
For the search product, we can search product that that the product that store in the database. If we don't have don't have the product in the database, we cannot found it. But if the product that customer want to search in is in the database, so customer can view this product on the homepage.
Yes, but how you know if a product exists in the database or not? Like how, what is your algorithm? What is the input to the algorithm? And for example, you input as a text. Is it like you check it for the name of the product or for the description of the product? Can you explain a little bit more in detail about your search algorithm?
For the search algorithm, we for the search product, we focus on the name product first. If we search about the description of the product, we cannot see it.
I'm still not quite sure about your search algorithm actually. អាចនិយាយខ្មែរក៏បានដែរអាចជួយបញ្យល់បន្តិចមកតែ search algorithm របស់យើងហ្នឹងធ្វើមិនដែរពីព្រោះធម្មតា search algorithm យើងត្រូវ input ទៅជា key ដែលយើងចង់ search ហ្នឹងមិនចឹងអញ្ចឹងយើងធ្វើមិនយកទៅ compare គ្រប់ឈ្មោះទាំងអស់នៅ product ក្នុង database របស់យើងឬក៏យើងធ្វើមិនដើម្បីឲ្យវា efficient ដើម្បីវាលឿនអញ្ចឹង
បាទគ្រូចំពោះចំណុចហ្នឹងដែរback end គឺខ្ញុំអត់ទៅបានធ្វើទៅលើអាកន្លែងចំពោះកន្លែងហ្នឹងទេខ្ញុំអាចធ្វើលើ front end ប៉ុន្តែខ្ញុំអាចធ្វើខ្លះចំណុចហ្នឹងគឺខ្ញុំអាចយើងអាច import ទៅយើងអាច import នៅ product ណាដែល user គាត់បាន input យើងអាចយើងតាមខ្ញុំដឹងគឺយើង product យើង store នៅក្នុង database ហើយវា search by name របស់ product ហ្នឹងគ្រូបើសិនបើករណីបើយើង search ទៅតាម description គឺអត់អាចរកឃើញទេគ្រូដូចប្រភេទនេះ close នេះចឹងដូច hoodie ចឹងដូច hoodie យើងអាច search ទៅបើសិនបើវា name នៅក្នុង database ហ្នឹងយើងអាច search ទៅយើងអាចឃើញនៅប្រភេទកៅអៅដែលមានឈ្មោះថា name ថា hoodie ហ្នឹងចេញនៅលើ homepage
ឧទាហរណ៍ឥឡូវនៅក្នុង database មាន product មួយឈ្មោះ black hoodie ហើយបន្តមកអ្នក customer ហ្នឹងគេវាយតែពាក្យ black ទេអាហ្នឹង search មកឃើញដែរអត់
ឃើញគ្រូ
អូខេហ្នឹងហើយខ្ញុំមែនតើខ្ញុំចង់ឲ្យយើងបញ្យល់ពីalgorithm ហ្នឹងព្រោះយើងដឹងតែ search ថាបើមានក្នុង database គឺវា return មកហើយមិនអញ្ចឹងហ្នឹងហើយអត់អីអញ្ចឹងហ្នឹងអរគុណខ្ញុំមានតែមួយសំណួរហ្នឹង Any other questions from the juries?
Alo như vậy đó cô.
Bạn lưu vào nào.
Ông xung vậy không ai một đấy à. Tí nguyên trong số tha càng như bao nhiêu phân lên front end rồi có back end. Alo.
Alo លោកគ្រូការងាររបស់ខ្ញុំភាគច្រើនគឺខ្ញុំធ្វើ front end ដោយសារតែ back end ខ្ញុំអត់និយាយរួមខ្ញុំអត់ធ្វើបាន specific ទៅលើ back end ប្រហែលទេលោកគ្រូ
អូខេអញ្ចឹង front end យើងធ្វើតែ2 page ទេគឺកន្លែង search product មួយហើយនិងកន្លែងorder detail មួយតែពីរនេះហើយ
login page ហើយនិង register page លោកគ្រូហើយនិង about us ហើយ contact page
sorry
មានសំណួរឲ្យបន្តទៀតបាន
ជាប់ទូរស័ព្ទសុំទោសអូខេសូម come back បន្តិចវិញទៀតអូខេឥឡូវយើងធ្វើលើ front end ខ្ញុំអាចចង់សួរមួយកន្លែងណាដែលយើងទៅ customize component របស់ React យើងអាច show ខ្ញុំនិយាយខ្ញុំស្ដាប់ទីបានអត់
លោកគ្រូសុំស្ដាមទីបានលោកគ្រូខ្ញុំដោយសារដោយប្រភេទ React ហ្នឹងខ្ញុំដោយសារតែខ្ញុំអត់មាន experience មួយវាប្រហែលទេលោកគ្រូមិនតែអញ្ចឹងទៅខ្ញុំជា first experience របស់ខ្ញុំមួយ React ជាមួយ project ហ្នឹងហ្មងអញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំពេលកន្លែងខ្លះគឺខ្ញុំអត់បានអត់សូវដឹងដែរលោកគ្រូ
អត់អីទេយើងអត់សូវដឹងអត់អីទេខ្ញុំយល់ប៉ុន្តែគ្រាន់តែឥឡូវយើងបាន start 2 ខែហើយអញ្ចឹងយើងសាកនិយាយមើលតើយើងយល់បាននេះគេខ្លះអាច share ជា knowledge ហ្នឹងមកមើលតើយើងនិយាយបានគេតែនឹង custom component នេះអត់ឬក៏សរសេរ component នៅលើ React ហ្នឹងយ៉ាងម៉េចអត់ព្រោះតែយើងចាយពេល2 ខែទៅ start លើ React ដែរណា front end
បាទចំពោះ front end ដែលខ្ញុំបានរៀនពី React ហ្នឹងគឺនេះខ្ញុំអាចប្រើ React ហ្នឹងwith ជាមួយទៅនឹង Bootstrap មានដូចជាផ្សេងទៀតលោកគ្រូមានដូចជាខ្ញុំអាច connect វាមួយ database របស់ MongoDB ហើយទៅចំពោះមួយទៀតចំពោះdatabase ដែលយើងអាចនេះបានយើងអាចចំពោះ connect database ជាមួយទៅនឹង front end បាន
អូខេអរគុណមួយទៀតខ្ញុំចង់បន្ថែមជា comment នេះទីមួយរៀនយល់ឲ្យច្បាស់រវាង front end និង back end React.js វាជា front side script នៅខាងមុខវាអត់អាច connect ទៅ database ឆៅបានទេវាត្រូវមានជា API connection ហើយលឿនហ្នឹងវាប្រកាសជាមានអីមួយដើម្បី configuration ដើម្បីឲ្យ call API បានទី2ខ្ញុំនិយាយពី slide សូមពិនិត្យមើល slide តិចផងព្រោះតែបើសិនជា e-sign slide របស់យើងគួរតែ consistent ទៅលើកន្លែង title បើសិនជាវាកន្លែងណា fix វាគួរតែ fix មកនៅថេចឹងតោះណា
បាទ
សេឲ្យប្រយ័ត្នកន្លែងហ្នឹងហើយដូចខ្ញុំបញ្ជាក់ចឹងគឺតើតើនឹង front and back end សិក្សាឲ្យច្បាស់ថាវាមិនហ្នឹងខ្ញុំមានតែប៉ុណ្្នឹងឯងអូខេអរគុណ
Okay. And any question, Tin and Pala?
ខ្ញុំតិចចឹងគ្រូយើងថាយើងធ្វើលើ front end ជាច្រើនហើយនៅក្នុង front end ហ្នឹងទូទៅវាមានរឿងច្រើនដែលយើងត្រូវគិតដូច user friendly ឬក៏ user experience ហ្នឹងហើយខ្ញុំមានអារម្មណ៍ថាយើងអត់សូវយល់ច្បាស់ពី task front end យើងបានច្រើនទេតែខ្ញុំលើកទឹកចិត្តឲ្យ ពេលយើងធ្វើ project បន្ទាប់នៅឆ្នាំក្រោយយើងស្វែងយល់វាបានច្រើនជាងនឹងបន្តិចពិសេសកន្លែងណាដែលយើង responsible លើហ្នឹងខ្ញុំឧទាហរណ៍ដូចនៅក្នុង user interface របស់យើងពីច្រើនយើង design មកវារៀង basic មែនទេវា basic feature ហើយថាមែនទេទៅបើសិនយើងគ្រាន់តែចូលទៅតេស្តនៅក្នុង website e-commerce គេធម្មតាវារៀងយើងមើលទៅពេលខ្លះយើងអត់យល់ពី feature ហ្នឹងផងតែបើយើងជាទូទៅយើងរៀងbasic មែនទេវាអត់សូវមាន feature ច្រើនដូចជាយើងធ្វើទៅតងនឹងshipping ឬក៏ order អីទាំងអស់ហ្នឹងគឺទៅរាល់ពេលដែលយើង order យើងច្រើនតែពេញព័ត៌មានថ្មីរហូតពីអត់មានលក្ខណៈ user ម្នាក់នៅពេលគាត់ register ក្នុងរបស់យើងគាត់ធ្លាប់ពេញព័ត៌មានម្ដងហើយលើក្រោយទៀតគាត់ចូលមកគាត់មានព័ត៌មាននឹងស្រាប់ហើយគាត់មិនបាច់ចាំ fill រហូតទេអាហ្នឹងក៏ recommend របស់ខ្ញុំទេតែដោយសារយើង focus លើ front end អញ្ចឹងយើងព្យាយាមយក front end ឲ្យបានច្រើនតិចហើយអរគុណច្រើនគ្រូអរច្រើនគ្រូ
Okay. So no more question from our jury. Okay, so thank you for the second presenter. So let's move to the next presentation. The presentation of Mr. Heng Ngun Ha, and the topic is récupérer un commentaire Facebook en direct.
Hello teacher, hello everyone, my name is Heyun Ha. This is my presentation about my internship on web development on a website called Retrieving Facebook Live Comment. I would like to thank you to my academic supervisor and company advisor, Dr. Kung Pala, who helping me from the beginning of the internship until the end, helping me doing my report and this presentation. My internship starts from 13 July 2021 to 11 October 2021. Here is my content. First is introduction, second presentation of the project, third system design analysis, fourth implementation, fifth conclusion, and the last one is demo. Let's begin with introduction. Overview of organization. I internship at the Institute of Technology of Cambodia, known as for Techno in Higher Education Institute in Phnom Penh. Overview of internship. I had a year 4 engineer student in the Department of Information and Communication Engineering at ITC School. Students are required to have internship. The internship helps students to adapt to real work environment and to get new knowledge and experience, especially applying and integrating theory into real practice. Again, I was started my internship from 13 July to 11 October 2021. Second point is presentation of the project. General presentation of the project. Nowadays, there are a lot of people who do business with Facebook using Facebook Live function to show and share their product. This project will help them to get and manage their comment easily. Problematic. There are some difficulties for people who want to collect their needed comment from Facebook Live video, like finding the needed comment. If there are a lot of comments, it will be hard for them to scroll from one by one, and even they use computer, it will take there a lot of time to take note the needed comment. People can use their handwriting to take note on their paper, but will be hard for them to verify and searching the comment that they needed again, and managing needed comment. If they are do business using live video every day, so there will be a lot of comment, so it will be hard for them to manage their paperwork. Objective of the project is to solve the previous problem, like make it easy for user to view and print their comment, reduce their time to find and select the command that user need, and let the user to view their own command, and also help the admin of the website to manage the website easily. Planning. My first week is understanding the requirement analysis and plan, and the second week I making UX UI design and database, and in the same second week until week 8 I starting finding and learning tool for scraping command from Facebook and developing my front end. And the next 3 weeks I develop back end development, and the last 2 weeks I feedback and testing. Third, system analysis and design. Analysis needed main functionality. For system admin, use system user, for manage user, use page for manage page of the user, use line URL to manage URL of the page, use line command to manage command of the URL. For the normal user like client or temporary user, they can access system user, but they can use page to see all of their page and choose which page they want to use. Use line URL to generate their command, to view their URL, to view their own command. And for line command user, normal user can view their command, select their command, and print it out. For optional functionality, first is UI design, and second point for front-end development, the application not required to work for different browser. Concept. First, let's begin with the case diagram. In my system, I have 3 users. First is temporary, which the user that can use the system only 1 week, client and admin. For the normal user like temporary and client, they can access to page list to see the page and select a page that they need to use. They can generate, view, select, and print the command, and they also can view line command. For admin can manage page, manage user, manage command, and line URL. And all of these actions need to sign in with Facebook first. Action of application. Physical architecture. So user do action with the front end make a request to web server interact the data with the database and make a response back based on the request to front end, and front end display the result to the user. Logical architecture. First, client side make a HTTPS request to server side. Server side check authentication of the user and pass to route. Inside with controller should be used. Controller manage the data with model and database and send a view, action, and data back to HTTPS response based on the request to view. Activity diagram. First is generate and print the command by user. First, if user start from home, the user sign in with Facebook. If they sign in not success, they will be back to home. If they success, the system check if they are not new user. They go to select page. If they are new user, they need to add more information like telephone and address, and then back to select page. After they select a page, they can generate their command based on their URL input. They can get the command that they want, and they can view it and print the command out. Here is the view and print all command action. If the user start from home, they sign in with the Facebook. If they sign in not success, back to home. If they success, back to select a page. If they select after select a page, they can select a UI at the navbar of the page to go to URL page, and then they can select a URL and they can view and print their own comment. Entity relationship diagram. I have 4 tables. The first table is table user. I use SBID mean Facebook ID as primary key. Email are not required because some Facebook users they don't create their Facebook with email. And then table page, table URL, SB URL line mean URL of Facebook with all line of the user. And comment, I use CID mean comment ID as primary key. And commenter URL mean the URL to profile Facebook of the user, and it's not required because my system cannot collect all the user profile Facebook URL, and the content are not required too because my system don't collect the image and sticker of the comment, and the relationship between user and page are non-identified. For user can have 0 page or many page, but a page can have only one user, and the other relationships are the same. The fourth point is implementation. Technology, software and framework library. I use Bootstrap for helping develop front-end, MongoDB for database, Awesome for icon, Express.js, Node.js for backend, Facebook for developer, used for sign in with Facebook. Development tool, I use XD for develop UX UI design, GitHub for version control, Visual Studio Code used for IDE. For the structure of the project, my web development using Node.js and use EJS as front end, and I also use MVC structure with content controller, model, and view. Sign in with Facebook. Here how I let my users sign their Facebook account into my application. First, I create an app with Facebook developer by creating an account of Facebook developer and then create an account. Here how the app look like. Next, I add sign in with Facebook button into my client side and configure the code on client. In this point, I don't use any node library to help for sign in with Facebook. I use it direct with on my client side. So on the left picture on the top function, it's used for connecting with my app that I create in previous page and check for user login. Or the second function used for connect with Facebook SDK, and on the right picture, the first function used for do action for user sign in with Facebook success and non-success, and the last function is used for collect user information from Facebook API. Scrapping Facebook command. I use two libraries, Arsource and Cherry.io. I use Arsource to scrap HTML page of the user line, and use Cherry.io to convert the data get from Arsource into HTML DOM for making it easy to scrap the data that I need. And I pass that data into the second function to scrap the command. And each page I get only 10, so I need to loop it and use the same method. I use Arsource and Cherry.io to grab the data I need and seal that command. And conclusion. For the result and feature that I complete most of the page, but only bright page are not complete. For the difficulty during my internship, the first one is finding tools to scrap the command. It's really hard for me to finding and choose which one should be used because I doesn't have much experience about it. and I also took a lot of time to learn that tool and that library. And the last one is I work really hard to work because at my house has a lot of noise and sometimes has a problem with the internet. For my experience during this internship, I got a lot of experience like self-learning, learn how to get and search the information from the internet, understand more. I can understand more the Node.js and Express.js, understand about Facebook API, and experience working from home, and I gain a lot of soft skills like self-organizing, critical thinking, time management, and flexibility. From my perspective, I want to fulfill all the tasks that I don't complete and improve more on user interface and performance for my application. Even some points are complete, but it's not good enough. And the last point, the point that I really want is I want to scale my command from Facebook API, not using Asos or Cheerio. Here is my reference. Let's go to the demo. So this is my application. If we are new user, we need to input the phone number and address. Now we are a new user, so we don't have page. And here is our information. You can look for system admin. They can access to page user and see the new user. Let's create new page for new user, and we can edit them back. And for this table also, the user, the admin can edit the user information like telephone, address, type, etc. But they cannot edit the username or email because it gets from the Facebook. If the user change the name, the system will be automatically change the name the same as Facebook name. So see a page. So I use this line URL because it doesn't have my command. For the keyword, here's how the system will show after generating the command, and the user can see all the commands. And here is the selected command that use that selected command based on our keyword, and can unselect it, select it, or select more command. And we can also sort our command based on the username, the user command. And we also can go to their Facebook profile page by clicking their name to see who he is or she is, and we can chat direct to their page if they comment to buy our product. And we can also see only selected command. So user can download all command, can download only selected command. Here is only the selected command. Here is the all command. All command is 194 minus 1 the top, the header of the table. And let's check, yes, the same number. And let's check the date and time of the user public or started live the video. Here is 9 November 2021 and 8 p.m. Here is the correct time. And if it has many URL, we can sort it by the URL, by date and time. So that's it. Thank you.
So I would like to have a question first. Bon, can you show the slide on the diagram on page 16? Yeah. So can you explain a little bit more on how do you generate a like comment when you just pass on the URL to the system, and how you generate to get that text to import into your table in the web?
Like in my slide that I saw how I scrap the comment, I use two library, Ashok and Cherry-O. When a user import the URL, I use Ashok to use Ashok. Before I use Ashok, I change that URL from www.facebook to mobile.facebook first, and then I use Ashok to scrap that command, to scrap that URL. If I use www.facebook, Ashok will get the login page of the Facebook. But if I use mobile.facebook, it can be show the HTML page of the live URL of the user. And then I use Cherry-O to grab the response from the Ashok to generate it to an HTML DOM again. And then I inspect the page for scraping the data, and then I use that Cherry-O to scrap that data in the HTML to get that important data that I need and save it.
Sorry, where?
Maybe in this point you may confuse about like command. In the first at the start of the project, I want to use to mean that to get when a user like they put their URL, and then we can see their command in my system. But in that point, I don't cannot do that. I don't have tool to grab that command because I don't use Facebook API. So this point, if I need to grab the command when the user they are finished their live. I can scrap if they are like the Facebook already.
Okay, so I want to know the exact library, like you mentioned, Excels, something like that. I don't hear it clearly. Have you mentioned it in somewhere on the slide? Did you mention it?
Yes, sir.
I mean,
so at implement and section 4. Let me check for you. On slide 25, I explained it already.
Okay, so the problem is you put a code and we don't understand the flow. So can you explain more about the flow, like how scrap library use, like the flow process to capture the comment on the live video, not the live on the Facebook. Do you understand how it work, or you just put the and then
I just explained you earlier. ខ្ញុំសូមនិយាយខ្មែរហ្មងចាខ្ញុំមើលមុននឹងចាប់ផ្ដើម project ហ្នឹងខ្ញុំដំបូងគឺ project ហ្នឹងគឺចង់ឲ្យខ្ញុំហ្នឹងទៅទាញ comment ផ្ទាល់ពេល user គាត់ live ភ្លាមគាត់ដាក់ URL ក្នុង system របស់ខ្ញុំគាត់អាចឃើញ live comment របស់គាត់នៅក្នុង system របស់ខ្ញុំផងនៅក្នុង Facebook page របស់គាត់ផងមានថា comment ហ្នឹងចេញដូចគ្នាប៉ុន្តែខ្ញុំធ្វើអត់បានទេដោយសារខ្ញុំអត់ Facebook API មួយ Facebook API អញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំត្រូវរក tool ផ្សេងអញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំត្រូវ search internet ទៅខ្ញុំឃើញ Ashok និង Cherry-O ហ្នឹងអញ្ចឹងនៅពេលដែលខ្ញុំប្រើ tool ហ្នឹងខ្ញុំអាចទាញ comment នៅពេលគេ live ផ្ទាល់ទេពេលគេ live ផ្ទាល់ឧទាហរណ៍ថា comment ហ្នឹងពេលគេដាក់ URL ហ្នឹង comment ហ្នឹងបានតែ100អញ្ចឹងវាទាញបានតែ100ហ្នឹងទេគាត់ចង់បាន comment ហ្នឹងទាំងអស់តើតាគាត់ live ចប់បានគាត់ដាក់ URL ហ្នឹងទៅគាត់ទាញបាន comment ហ្នឹងទាំងអស់ពេលគាត់ដាក់ URL ហ្នឹងទៅខ្ញុំប្រើនៅ slide ទី25ខ្ញុំប្រើ Ashok ហ្នឹងមុននឹងប្រើ Ashok ហ្នឹងខ្ញុំចម្លែកពី https w/w ហ្នឹង www.facebook ហ្នឹងទៅជា mobile.facebook វិញ ដោយសារនៅពេលខ្ញុំដាក់ W ដល់ Facebook ហ្នឹងអាសូសហ្នឹងវាទៅទាញនៅ page login ទេវាទៅទាញpage ដែល user line ទេតោះតែខ្ញុំដាក់ mobile ដល់ Facebook តោះមកខ្ញុំយក stereo ហ្នឹងទៅ generate data ពីអាសូសហ្នឹងទៅជា XML ដល់វិញតោះមកខ្ញុំមុននឹងនេះខ្ញុំទៅ inspect មើល data ហ្នឹងថា data ដែលខ្ញុំត្រូវយកហ្នឹងវានៅកន្លែងណានៅ DOM របស់HTML អញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំ select DOM នេះលោកគ្រូឃើញនៅក្នុងទូទី2នេះ URL data នេះខ្ញុំ copy ពី script មួយ script ហ្នឹងវាដំបូងគេអញ្ចឹងយក script ហ្នឹងមួយហើយខ្ញុំយកមក convert វាជា JSON data ហើយនៅចុងក្រោយនេះdata នេះគឺខ្ញុំយកline data ហ្នឹងខ្ញុំយក date របស់ create របស់គាត់មកអញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំបាន date របស់គាត់ហើយបំលែង date ហ្នឹងមកទៅជា date ដែលទូទៅដែលខ្ញុំបង្ហាញនៅក្នុង URL ខ្ញុំហ្នឹងបន្ទាប់មកខ្ញុំបាន data របស់គាត់URL line របស់គាត់ហើយខ្ញុំបោះមក function ក្រោមដោយមួយ page ហ្នឹងខ្ញុំទាញបានតែក្នុង10អញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំត្រូវលុបវាហើយខ្ញុំប្រើ the same method ដូចឥឡូវហ្នឹងប្រើ assoc ហ្នឹងហើយនឹង stereo ហ្នឹងទាញ data ពី DOM ដែលគឺណា data នៅក្នុង DOM ហ្នឹងដែលខ្ញុំត្រូវការយកមកហើយខ្ញុំសៀវវាទុកប៉ុណ្ណឹង
អូខេខ្ញុំយល់ពីអ្វីយើងនិយាយហើយប៉ុន្តែយើងនៅខ្វះចំណុចមួយតាមពិត Excel ហ្នឹងវាអត់មានជា tool ទេ Excel ហ្នឹងគឺជាជា cross domain មួយដើម្បីយើងធ្វើ request API បានបងណាទី1ទី2អ្វីដែលយើង apply ធ្វើនោះគឺ stereo នោះដែលយើងអត់ដឹងថា stereo នោះធ្វើអីគេនៅពេលដែលយើង request API ទៅឲ្យ stereo ហ្នឹងមានន័យថាAzure វា get API ឬក៏វា get ពីURL ណាមួយហើយវាបោះទៅឲ្យនោះ stereo នោះតាមខ្ញុំគិតណាប៉ុន្តែអ្វីដែលខ្ញុំអត់យល់ហ្នឹងគឺខ្ញុំចង់ប្រាប់ថាតើនៅពេលដែលយើងបាន content អញ្ចឹងថាយើងធ្វើមិនដើម្បី extract text ហ្នឹងបានខ្ញុំចង់និយាយចឹងប៉ុន្តែនៅក្នុងហ្នឹងបើតាមខ្ញុំមើលទៅវា return stereo នោះប្រហែលជាវា return មកជា text HTML បន្តមកទៀតកូដយើងខាងក្រោមហ្នឹងបានកូដរបស់យើងហ្នឹងទៅ check DOM នៅលើ file ហ្នឹងហើយយើងចាប់យក text ហ្នឹងយកមកកន្លែង element.children មាន tag ទេចាប់យក attribute ហ្នឹងហើយចាប់យក next text ចុងក្រោយហ្នឹងមានន័យថាយើងទៅ get text នៅក្នុង file ហ្នឹងតាមខ្ញុំគិតទេណាប៉ុន្តែអ្វីខ្ញុំចង់បញ្ជាក់ឲ្យពួកយើងអ្វីដែលខ្ញុំចង់បញ្ជាក់ហ្នឹងគឺទី1គឺចង់ឲ្យយើងបញ្យល់ថា stereo ហ្នឹងវាជាអីគេហើយវា return មកមិន flow វាមិនដើម្បីយើងបានfile ហ្នឹងមកអញ្ចឹងទៅអញ្ចឹងបើយើងមែនតើគ្រាន់តែបោះ URL ទៅវា return file ដល់ HTML មួយបន្តមកទៀតយើងអាចសរសេរ JavaScript ទៅ get text ពី file ហ្នឹងបានបើតាមខ្ញុំគិតហើយបញ្ជាក់មកវិញ Excel ហ្នឹងមិនមែនជា tool ទេវាជា cross domain មួយដើម្បីឲ្យយើងហ្នឹងអាចធ្វើ request API បាននៅលើ front script គឺ Excel ហ្នឹងគឺពេញនិយមជាងគេទាំង Vue.js ទាំងដូចជា React ប្រើហ្នឹងដែរតែខ្ញុំអត់ច្បាស់ទេ React អញ្ចឹងយើងអាចប្រើ Excel ហ្នឹងដើម្បីទៅ request ទៅណីមកបានតោះហើយមួយទៀតជា suggestion ខ្ញុំសូមលើកក្រោយបើសិនជាមាន slide present តាក់ទងនឹង flow អីមួយអញ្ចឹង generate អីអញ្ចឹងសុខចិត្តធ្វើវាជាpseudo code ឬក៏ជា flow អីមួយដាក់មកកូដមិនអញ្ចឹងគ្រូខ្លះគាត់យល់ concept ប៉ុន្តែពេលខ្លះគាត់ភ្លេចកូដបាត់ហើយអញ្ចឹងមើលរបស់យើងអត់យល់ទេតោះណាអញ្ចឹងកន្លែង implementation ហ្នឹងគឺដាក់កូដអញ្ចឹងគឺខ្ញុំអត់សូវ supportive ទេអូខេ
អត់លោកគ្រូបាទ
អូខេខ្ញុំដូចជាអស់សំណួរតែនៅមួយទៀតចង់សួរប៉ុន្តែទុកលោកគ្រូអ្នកគ្រូផ្សេងពីលោកគ្រូចង់សួរផ្សេងទៀតចាំសួរតាមក្រោយបើសិនជាអត់មាន
គាត់លោកគ្រូ
បងវណ្ឌីលោកគ្រូ
Okay, thank you for the presentation. I have only one question. I don't think it was in the scope of your current work, but I just want to know your idea if it is possible to manipulate the comments. I think what you have done is only like one way. Like you extract the information from Facebook, right? Is it possible to like send the data back to Facebook? For example, the comments on the live video, sometimes there are inappropriate comments. and you may want to remove all of the comments. And sometimes you can also block the user. Is it possible according to what you have learned from this project? And if it is possible, how can you do it?
For this point, I don't learn much about Facebook API, but I think it's possible to do that. But I don't know how to do that because I just learn about their live function and take list of the URL and sign in. I just learned this 3 points because my system. I want to just get the comment of the user from their video, and then print their comment out. They just need only their comment, so we don't do another thing inside there.
Yes, okay, yes, thank you. Maybe it is interesting to look more into this kind of. Yes, that is all from me. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, teacher.
Okay, ខ្ញុំអត់មានអីស្រួយប៉ុន្តែខ្ញុំឃើញនិយាយខ្មែរដើម្បីគ្នាយើងអាចយល់ខ្ញុំគ្រាន់ចង់ add បញ្ចេញទៅលើបញ្ចេញហ្នឹងគឺគោលបំណងរបស់បញ្ចេញហ្នឹងគឺគ្រាន់តែធ្វើម៉េចចាប់យក comment ដែលគេ like បានហ្នឹងយកមក show នៅ system ហើយអាច print comment បានព្រោះអីការងារហ្នឹងគឺបើសិនជាយើងមើលអ្នក like Facebook ហ្នឹងបើសិនគេចង់បាន comment គឺគាត់ត្រូវចំណាយពេលអង្គុយកត់អង្គុយអី record យូរអញ្ចឹងបើសិនជាមាន system record automatic យើងអាចកាត់ comment ណាដែលអត់ប្រយោជន៍ចោលបានហ្នឹងគាត់ទៅល្អទៀតអញ្ចឹងបានថា project នេះខ្ញុំផុសទៅចំពោះតាក់ទងមួយគំនិតរបស់ដូណាថាចង់ apply ទៅ ban comment ឬមួយស្អីណាហ្នឹងគឺជាផ្នែកផ្សេងទេវាអាចប្រើ idea ហ្នឹងទៅ apply ជាមួយចំណុចហ្នឹងបានដោយសារហ្នឹងវាជា idea មួយផ្សេងទៀតអញ្ចឹងអា idea ដូចដូណាលើកឡើងហ្នឹងគឺគេមានធ្វើក្រុមហ៊ុន Facebook ហ្នឹងគេបានជួលតាំងពីដឹងគេបានជួលបុគ្គលិកគេដើម្បីមើល content ហ្នឹងមិនសិនជាមាន comment ណាឬមួយក៏មានវីដេអូអីលក្ខណៈជាមិនប្រក្រតីគេនឹងអាច ban ឬក៏ block តែគេអាចបាន feedback ពីអ្នក comment ដែរបើសិនជា feedback comment ច្រើនក៏គេអាច block វីដេអូឬក៏ content នឹងចោលដែរចឹងនេះជាផ្នែកមួយផ្សេងនេះហ្នឹងគឺខ្ញុំចង់បញ្ជាក់បន្ថែមប៉ុណ្្នឹងឯង
បាទលោកគ្រូកន្លែងបញ្ជាក់ហ្នឹងខ្ញុំមើលទៅ interesting ណាស់លោកគ្រូយ៉ាងផ្នែកហើយមើលទៅតាមស្រុកខ្មែរយើងឥឡូវឃើញ live ច្រើនអ្នក live លក់លេមិនលក់លេលក់អីវ៉ាន់អញ្ចឹងបើសិនជាបញ្ជាក់ហ្នឹងធ្វើដាតទៅក៏វាអាចនិយាយរួមទៅ make benefit បានលឿនដែរអញ្ចឹងណាគាត់តែអ្វីដែលចង់សួរទៅ concern គឺគាត់ឲ្យគាត់បញ្ជាក់ពីខ្លះកន្លែងខ្លះជា flow ជារបៀបនៃការរៀបរាប់អញ្ចឹងលោកគ្រូបាទហើយមួយទៀតមានសំណួរចុងក្រោយមួយទៀតចង់សួរគឺចង់សួរថាយើងថាយើងប្រើ MongoDB យើងស្គាល់ថាអីគេ MongoDB អត់គ្នាយើងមិនអ្នកមុនអត់បានសួរហើយសួរថា MongoDB ហ្នឹងខុសពី MySQL មិនដែរ
MongoDB ហ្នឹងវា NoSQL លោកគ្រូវាហ្នឹងទីមក JSON data ហ្មងអញ្ចឹងយើងអត់ចាំបាច់ទៅjoin table ឬក៏អីអញ្ចឹង
អូខេ
បាទ
That's it ហើយអត់ខុសទេ
បាទហើយcompany ខ្ញុំត្រូវធ្វើជាមួយ Facebook API ដោយសារយើងត្រូវការ permission ពីហើយត្រូវការ verify business business ជាមួយ Facebook ទៀតហើយយើងត្រូវការ business license ពីកម្ពុជាទៀតអញ្ចឹងអាចធ្វើបានទេកន្លែងហ្នឹងអញ្ចឹងមកខ្ញុំជាយាមធ្វើthrough ផ្សេងធ្វើតាម Python ទេ
ខ្ញុំគិតថាបើសិនជាគ្រាន់តែចង់បាន ban comment ដែលអត់ល្អលោកគ្រូអាចសាកប្រើលក្ខណៈ natural language processing លោកគ្រូដើម្បី filter keyword មួយចំនួនយើងគិតថាអត់ល្អយើង filter ចោលបានថានោះមែនខ្ញុំអស់សំណួរឯងគ្រាន់តែជា suggestion ជជែកគ្នាវិញបាទ
I ខ្ញុំសូមមានយោបល់បន្តិច
អូខេ
តើតើងតែតើនឹង topic មួយហ្នឹងវា interesting មែនទេដូចគ្រូបាននិយាយចឹងមិនន័យថាវាល្អបើមិនយើងធ្វើចេញប៉ុន្តែនៅក្នុង title របស់យើងដាក់ Facebook live comment ប៉ុន្តែនៅក្នុង project ហ្នឹងយើង fail មានន័យយើងអាចយក streaming comment ណាមិនន័យថាយើងអាច fix វា real time ទេទោះតែគេចប់នៅពេលយើងចាប់ដើម fix data បើ comment វាមានប៉ុណ្ណាយើងយកបានប៉ុណ្ណឹងមែនទេ
អត់បានលោកគ្រូភាសាហ្នឹងយើងអត់មែនប្រើជាមួយ Facebook API ចឹងហើយតែអានេះយើងទៅចង់និយាយថាយើងទៅ read HTML គេយកទៅហ្មង
ហ្នឹងហើយអាហ្នឹងកន្លែងមួយដែល title យើងដាក់ live comment តែយើងធ្វើអត់ទាន់បានហើយមួយទៀតតើតងហ្នឹងអាហ្នឹងពេលថាវាមិនប្រកបតា Facebook API លុត្រាគេឲ្យយើងបានយើងធ្វើបានវាអាចនឹងមាន technique ផ្សេងទៀតតែយើងអាចយើង refresh វា real time អីចឹងទៅអាហ្នឹងយើងយកទៅ filter comment ណាដែលថ្មីយើងដាក់ចូលមិនណាដែលចាស់យើងមិនដាក់វាចូលទេវាអាចយើងអាហ្នឹងអាស្រ័យលើ logic របស់យើងប៉ុន្តែចំនួនខ្ញុំចង់សួរមួយតើតងនឹងកន្លែងដែលយើង scrap comment ណាកន្លែងហ្នឹងយើង filter comment តាម HTML tag មែនទេឬក៏ HTML ID បើតាមខ្ញុំមើលដូចជា HTML tag
វាថានៅកន្លែងណានៅ time table មែនលោក
កន្លែងនៅក្នុងកន្លែង stereo នៅពេលយើង filter យក comment យើង filter តាម comment tag ណែមែនអត់ដូចជា header 3ឬក៏អីនោះនៅពេលយើង scrap យក comment ដូចជានៅក្នុងទំព័រទី25ហ្នឹង
ហើយបាទ
ហ្នឹងខ្ញុំកន្លែងហ្នឹងអូខេខ្ញុំសួរចឹងកន្លែងហ្នឹងនៅពេលឧទាហរណ៍ថា Facebook វា dynamic មែនទេពេលខ្លះអាចមួយថ្ងៃពីរថ្ងៃឬក៏មួយអាទិត្យក្រោយវា auto update page ឬថាវាអាច update ID ឬពួក framework ថ្មីแล้วសំបីតែ ID របស់វាក៏វា auto generate ដែរវា dynamic រហូតតែពេលណាមួយដែលវាដូរ tag ឬក៏ដូរ structure អាហ្នឹងsystem យើងមក fail ហើយបើវា detect អត់ស្គាល់កន្លែងណាដែលត្រូវចាប់ comment អាហ្នឹងយើងមាន prevention អីទេឬក៏មកទៅពេលយើង implement អាហ្នឹង
បានលោកគ្រូកន្លែងហ្នឹងអញ្ចឹងហើយខ្ញុំភាសាដូចខ្ញុំនិយាយចឹងភាសាអត់ធ្វើជាមួយ Facebook API ចឹងពេលអញ្ចឹងដល់ពេលគេដូរក៏យើងមកដូររបស់ system របស់យើងដែរ
អញ្ចឹងយើងត្រូវ update រហូត
ហ្នឹងហើយបាទអូវាអត់មាន way ក្រៅពីហ្នឹងបាទ
អូខេអត់អីទេខ្ញុំមានប៉ុណ្ណឹងអរគុណច្រើន
All right, so I think that is all for this presenter, and thank you for your presentation, and thank you, jury, for your question. If possible, let us move to the next presenter, okay?
Thank you, teacher.
Okay, so the next presentation will be presented by Mr. Kudnaro, and the topic is about school management information system, student service section.
Alo, bạn đi đâu screen nữa?
Alo bạn đi.
Bắt alo xong tôi là khổ Mac nó đập pe cho bật này tới vì chờ lắm tập bật cam thi Microsoft Teams quick chào một sorry nhung play video to tiệt xong to quick là rồi chăm đấy nhung share screen sorry កំហុសបច្ចេកទេសធ្ងន់ធ្ងរ
អត់អី
ទាំងអស់គ្នាបើអត់ឮសលេងទេអាចជួយប្រាប់ខ្ញុំផងណា
Chairman, jury, and everyone, welcome to my presentation. My name is Koitaro. Today I would like to present about my internship project, which calls School
ឮ
Management.
សំឡេងតែអត់ឃើញវីដេអូ
I've been working on a sub-module called Student Section. My supervisor is Mr. Ranmanat, who gave me advice.
ទាំងអស់គ្នាឃើញវីដេអូទេឬក៏មិនអត់ឃើញ
ឮតែសំឡេងអត់ឃើញវីដេអូ
ចឹងឥឡូវខ្ញុំ
ឃើញ screen share ហ្នឹង
អត់តន់ share screen
អត់ខ្ញុំ share តាឥឡូវខ្ញុំបិទដងទៀតឥឡូវខ្ញុំ share screen ហើយចាំនេះ
Good afternoon, Chairman, jury, and everyone.
តោះគ្នាឮសំឡេងឃើញរូបអត់
អត់ឃើញរូបទេគ្រូឮតែសំឡេង
ចុះមិនចឹងឥឡូវខ្ញុំបិទទៀត ចាំ
Chairman, jury, and everyone, welcome to my presentation. My name is Koitaro.
ឃើញហើយបាទនេះឃើញហើយឮសំឡេង
Internship project, which calls School Management Information System. I have been working on a sub-module called Student Section. My supervisor is Mr. Ranmanat, who gave me advice on this project. The presentation is divided into 5 main parts. First, introduction. Second, underline design. Third, implementation. Fourth, conclusion. Fifth, demonstration. Let's get started with the introduction. The internship has been started from 2nd August to 1st October of 2021, which I took 2 months at ITC. My teammate is Ellen. She worked on front end, and my part is back end. The problem that makes us make the project is because it is difficult to manage students in department language section, because every year there are a lot of students from different departments, different year, and different level. And another difficulty is about the drawback of the previous system that built on monolith stone. So any update on any part of the system, the whole system will be affected. Therefore, our objective first to facilitate student management for department language section in student registration, update, or group assignment. Second is to update the system to use service-based architecture, so we can update any part of the system without affecting the whole system. Next, underline design. This is my planning table. The first 2 weeks, I learned technology. The third week, I analyze the project requirement. Start from the 4th to 7th week, I implementation, and the last week, I test the project. This is the use case diagram. User can register student. They can list student with that already registered with pagination, filter, and search. They can delete, update, and reduce student. They can also register and also assign group at the same time automatically. And they also can list new student in order to assign register. And all of these operation need to include authentication. As you can see on the slide, there are 4 tables. Student table store information of a student. Student parent table that store information of student parent. Student annual table store information of relationship between student and their academic year and their department they are studying in that academic year. Student section table store information about student in the department language section in every academic year. This is the physical architecture. The client sends requests through the internet to the server. On the server, there are many services, such as student service or service, and every request to the service need to be authenticated, and the response will send to the client through internet. Let's see the logical architecture. The Next.js client send request to the service, and on the service there is a middleware that wait for verify the token. Once the token verified, the auth server will send a token to store in a temporary table on the service, so that we don't need to verify for every request with the auth server. And once the token is verified, the requestant can request any resource from the service. If not, there is a mistake, send invalid message to the client. This is all technology that we use. We use Laravel for backend, Node.js for front end, PostgreSQL for database management system, and GitLab for version control. The tool we use, I use VS Code for code editor, Postman for API testing, Table Plus for database testing. Let's see the implementation for register. The thing we need to do first is get the data from client request, and there is a condition to prevent the duplicate of data. If the data new, it's stored to the database. If it is already exists, the function is end. Similarly, for update, client provide an ID and the data they want to update. And there is a condition to check the existence of the data. If the data exists, the data will be updated and send a result to the client. If not, an error message is sent to the client. Likewise, for delete, we get an ID that the client want to delete, and the condition check the existence of the ID. Once the ID exists, the data that have that ID will be deleted. For view, we get student ID from the client. We check for the existence of the student ID. If the ID exists, we retrieve all data of the student of that ID from every academic year, send back to the client. And this is the data table workflow. We get the data from a client and we check if the client provide filter key. If they provide, we just filter and check if the client send request with a search key and search value. So if they send with that, we search, and we also check if the client want to limit the number of records per page. So if they send a limit, so this page size per the number of records per page is equal to limit. If not, by default, one page we got only 50 records, and then we send the result to the client. In conclusion, all the tasks has been done, and I did some additional tasks to lighten the front end load, such as connecting the API and data manipulation. After I complete the project, experience I get is that I learned technology, I understand the project structure, and I face some difficulties, such as I'm working from home, which make my progress very slow, and sometimes we understand the project requirement and structure. If the future I have more time, I want to improve group assignment feature, and I want to add some more feature. Let's see the demonstration. Welcome to my demonstration. First of all, I want to demo about register student. For this API, we can register multiple students by just giving section we want to register, student annual ID, semester ID, and group ID is just optional. If you don't give it, it will be 0. So let's send. As you can see, we created 2 records. The first record, we give the group ID, so it is number 1. And the second record, we didn't give the group ID, so it is 0. And this record, it already exists in the database, so it won't be added again. For the update, we just give the ID we want to update, the data we want to change, and send request. As you can see, we update the group ID to number 2 for the record that has ID number 10. For view detail, the same thing. We just give the ID we want to use. Send. Here, the result of the record that has ID number 1. For delete, we just give the ID we want to delete. Let's say 19. Delete success. For the data table, we can limit number of record per page. I limit to 20. So each page contains 20 records, and we can filter on any field. I filter on gender ID for to number 2, and search. We want to search on name Latang and name KA. Let give the search value. Search for name net. Send. You see the result. Content net. See. Let's not give the search value. Let's see what the result is. You see, the name doesn't contain the net anymore. Let's go to the end. So we also have the URL to the next page and to the previous page also have. But in this case, we are on the page number 1, so the previous page we don't have the URL. So let's see group assignment. We can assign group for students by just giving academic year, semester ID, section ID we want to assign, degree, grade, and number of students per group. I just want 30 students per group. So send. So hit result. We got 30 students each group. Group 1, group 0, something like that. And it's quite long. Let me scroll to the end. Here we got 23 group. And for this API, we just assign group for the student that already registered in the section, and it do the same thing. You see, it is not new. It just assign group for the student that already registered. That's all for my demonstration. Thank you for your attention.
But លោកគ្រូណាមានសំណួរអាចសួរចុះខ្ញុំដូចជាអត់មានទេ
Okay, I just have one question, but not related to technical. I just wonder with why don't you create a UI?
Thank you for your question, Teacher Paula. We already have a user interface, but the user interface my teammate Ellen, she will present it later after me. We divide a handle on back end, and Ellen she work on front end.
Okay, so it means that backend no interface.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, so I just have a comment because I see several
Teacher,
slides. Yeah.
you mean have we connect the front end with the back end yet? You mean you want to ask like that?
No, I just wonder that it's normally if we make back end or front end, it should have interface, but you said that your system doesn't need interface for back end, right?
It
Yes.
should be API, I think.
We
Okay, so
actually need interface for user to interact with the back end, teacher.
it means, for example, like the Grabbot and Bunit, they do on the e-commerce system, they have back end and front end interface. But for your system, I wonder why you don't have a user interface for back end. This it means that your system really doesn't need interface, or you don't create it. Okay, I just wonder.
For back end, we do only the API, teacher.
Okay, get it, because I know, because you answer previous. Okay, so my comment, because of your slide is some slide I see you contain. Okay, for example, this slide is you combine two main idea in one slide. So normally presentation you should present only one main idea in one slide, and I see another slide like activity diagram for create and activity diagram for store and update. Okay, next, yeah, in here, yeah, previous slide. Yeah, this slide you also combine your two main idea into one slide, so it should be split into two slides. And if you think that it is similar, I just recommend you put the word store data, and then you use a slash, put the word update, so it can show that from this activity diagram it can store or update, because I see the same content, different only the word store data and update. So you just put slash and add the word update, so no need a second diagram. This is just my comment, and my main comment is, as I said earlier, it means that you should present only one main idea in one slide, not two main idea in one slide. Okay, that's all for my comment.
Yes, thank you, teacher Paula. I will correct it for the next presentation.
Okay, thank you for the presentation, Naro. I have one small question. Actually, it is the same question that I asked previously to the previous presenter. Can you explain, yes, because you did your work on the API, so I think you might be able to explain it better about the filter and search function.
Yes, teacher Donna. Thank you for that question. For filter, I just get what a user want to filter on, which key they want to filter, and then I use query builder to filter that on the key and the value to compare to filter. So all the data that have the match value will get to the user. The same thing for search. We use I use query builder of the Laravel to search the data. We use or where, like we select something from any table where any key equal to any value. But for search, we don't use equal, we use like and percentage, and like that. Teacher,
Okay, so
my answer?
yes, so it is purely you use purely the query, only the query, right? Is there any additional technique in order to improve the efficiency of the search and the filter function? No, use only the query.
Yeah. I did use only query, teacher.
Okay, yes. I only have this one question, and I have some comments, especially about your presentation, because it is you explain about the API. So I think the main point of each API that you create, you should mention clearly about the input and also the output that you return back, especially on your slide. You haven't explained clearly about that during the presentation. And also one more comment is about the diagram that you use. Maybe Vandi, can you go back to the activity diagram? Yeah, the previous one, yes. So here I can see that you use different shape and also different colors to represent each step of the workflow. I'm not sure if it is an activity diagram or not. You state that it is a workflow, but if you use a different shape and different color like this in a diagram, normally it means that they are different things. So I'm not sure if you want it to be like that, or like, for example, the round rectangle and the how do you say it in English? The get ID from client and the find and the lead data, they are in different shape. So are they different, or what do you mean by the different shape?
In Khmer we call it parallelogram, right? The shape for get ID from client, I want to distinguish to the find and delete data. I want to make it different, teacher. That's why I make two different shapes.
Yeah, why do you have to distinguish these two steps?
Because for the get ID from client, I want to make a notice that it we just get data. It's not the step that working in the program. We just get data, teacher.
Okay, because it's just looking at the phrase that you wrote. So get ID from client, find and delete the data, send this out to clients. They represent like actions. So they are like the same types. And for example, you use the diamond shape in order to represent the decision, right? So I think it is okay to use different shape. But for the other shape, if they are of different types, you should use the same shape and the same color. So for the diagram to be not confusing. Yes, that is just my
Yes,
comment. Yes.
Thank you, teacher.
Yeah, that is all for me. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I have something to say. Basically, your task, you work on register, update, delete, video, filter, search, pagination, assign group, something like that. Right? We could understand them actually, but I just want to know your understanding about authentication. Could you explain me about how you work on your authentication, basically on the token, how you create it and how you manage it and how you access your API and verify your token? I just want to know your understanding about this.
Thank you, teacher, for that. About the authentication, we have other service. In what I did, just on the student service. So for authentication, we have other service that handle on it. For that, I didn't involve in other service, teacher.
But actually, when you try to access any API or any request, your request has to pass through the verification of the token, and I think maybe you know about that in the middleware. But did you know how you store something in your cookie or the session, and maybe you can get the user information from your token?
Yeah, I can explain it in general. In general, if we log into a system, so the server will send a token to the client to store in a cookie on the client browser, like that. And when the client log out, the token will be deleted from the client browser. That's all I understand from the general outside the scope of this project, teacher. Because my scope on this project not involved in authentication, and we will make the service to combine with the other server. In other service include the other service also, teacher. Could my answer?
Okay, my recommendation, even you don't work on it, but you use it, and you should know the architecture or the process of working with the authentication. That is very important for most of the application. It's okay, and that's all. Thank you for your answer. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, teacher.
Okay, any more questions from the juries? No?
I want to add on this part a bit on the flow structure here. សូមនិយាយខ្មែរទៅព្រោះថាសំណុកយល់អស់គ្នាកន្លែងនេះតាមពិតជាស្ដែងយើងមាននៅក្នុង Smith project ខ្លាយើងគឺយើងមិន upgrade ចេញពី monolith application ទៅជា architecture base មានថាយើងបែកវាទៅជា service តូចៗអញ្ចឹងខាង Naro គឺគ្នាធ្វើការតាក់ទងនឹង service មួយនៃ project ហ្នឹងអញ្ចឹងដោយលោកគ្រូប៉ុណ្ណាគាត់សួរថា back end យើងអត់មាន interface មិនអត់មានគ្រូមានគឺនៅ auth server ដែលដើរតួជា interface ហ្នឹងប៉ុន្តែគ្នា build តែមានថា concept គ្នាធ្វើលើតែ API ចាំមានថាទិន្នន័យគឺភាគច្រើនគឺ represent គ្នា test មើលគឺនៅលើ Postman ដើម្បីដឹងថាបាន data អីខ្លះទាក់ទងនឹង authentication ដូចទីនសួរខ្ញុំនិយាយនេះគឺដើម្បីបញ្យល់ឲ្យយល់អស់គ្នាមានន័យថា ជាទូទៅនៅលើ front end យើងត្រូវ log in មួយអញ្ចឹង log in យើងទៅ request ទៅ auth server យើង auth server ហ្នឹងនឹងធ្វើ authentication និង authorization គឺយើងបោះទាំង token និង scope ឬក៏ permission ឲ្យគាត់ប៉ុន្តែនៅលើ project របស់យើងដោយសារតែក្នុង Node.js ហ្នឹងវាមាន service ផ្សេងមានន័យថាខ្ញុំ design project ហ្នឹងថាគឺយើង request ពី Node.js ទៅ server ហ្នឹងគឺអាច freely request ទៅ service ផ្សេងបានប៉ុន្តែបើសិនជាក្នុងករណីយើងឲ្យ Node.js ហ្នឹង request ទៅ service ផ្សេងបានដោយអត់មានអីបញ្ជាក់ថាគាត់មានសិទ្ធិអត់កន្លែងហ្នឹងធ្វើឲ្យ data យើង leak អញ្ចឹងពេលហ្នឹងគឺខ្ញុំបាន add middleware មួយនៅលើ service ទាំងអស់ដែល middleware ហ្នឹងគឺជាអ្នកទៅធ្វើ authentication token verifier ជាមួយនឹង auth server ថាតើ token ដែលបោះចេញមកពី client គឺបាន authorized by បាន authenticated by auth server នៅហើយគ្រាន់តែករណីនេះយើងមាន time flow តិចតួចទៀតដើម្បីកុំឲ្យ request ហ្នឹងវាច្រើនដងពេកអញ្ចឹងហ្នឹងគឺជា service បំបែកទូចៗនៅក្នុង Smith project របស់យើងអូខេខ្ញុំមានប៉ុណ្្នឹងទេ
Okay, no, I'll go on that for the explanation. So maybe it's time. Let's move to the next presentation. So the next presentation will be the same topic, but I think it is about the front end, and it will be presented by Miss Van Ilan.
បាទលោកគ្រូខ្ញុំកំពុង download ប្រហែលជាវីដេអូរឿងធំតិចហើយជា3 MB ចឹងទៅខ្ញុំសូមប្រហែលជា1នាទីដើម្បី download សិនណាសូម1នាទី
អូខេបាទ
ខ្ញុំប្រើ browser ដើម្បី join team តែខ្ញុំចង់សាកម្ដង share ម្ដងទៀតបានបាទ
បាន share បាន share
សាកស្មើខ្ញុំអត់ច្បាស់ថា share ទៅស្រួល share entire screen team Microsoft ឃើញទេបងឃើញអត់បងឃើញបាទ លឺអត់លឺបងគ្រូលឺច្បាស់អត់ទេ
My name is Ilan.
ហ្នឹងហើយច្បាស់
I'm glad to present to you about Student Management Information System Module Student Section. Let's have a look at the content. There are 5 main points in the content. First, project overview. Second, analysis and concept. Third, implementation. Fourth, conclusion. And the last one is demonstration. Let's move to the next slide. Project overview. There are 5 points: overview, problem, objective, features, and planning. Let's move to overview. Overview. What is Smith? Smith is an existing system in Institute of Technology of Cambodia. It has many modules or services to handle administration tasks such as student information, course information, and HR. Mr. Naro is a backend developer and I'm working on front end. Next. Problem. The problem is that people working in language sections are having hard time to manage students. For example, they have to register or assign group students by hand without any system to assist them. It is inconvenient and time-consuming. Moreover, though system is using monolithic system, it is difficult to update or upgrade the system. Next. Objective. The main reason that we create student section module is that we want language section to manage students using system. It facilitates their working progress. Also, we want to update our system to service-based architectures. let's have a look at feature. There are 6 main features in student section module: register student, use student information, delete student, assign group student, edit and generate group student. Next, this is our planning. We spent 2 weeks for learning technology, 1 week for study project structures and mockup, and 5 weeks for implementation, and the last week for testing. That's all for project overview. Let's move to the next part. Analysis and concept. There are 5 points in this section: use case diagram, entity relational diagram, technology and tool, system architectures, and user mind map diagram. Let's move to use case diagram. Use case diagram. This diagram shows that user can manage student, assign group, and generate group that include authentication of the system. Next, entity relational diagram. In this diagram, as we can see, section manage many students in section, and student section is from student annual, and one student can have many annual. Let's go to next part. Technology and tools. These are technology and tools that we use. We use Laravel Lumen as backend and Node.js as frontend. And for database, we use PostgreSQL. Next, physical system architectures. In these figures, as you can see, in Smith, there are student service and adult service that need to be authenticated by authentication service. Client need to have internet access and authenticated by all service in order to access to student service. Let's move to next slide. Logical system architectures. In these architectures, we have Node.js as a client side. When client wants to access to a student service, they need to request token from all servers. If the verified token is authorized, then the token is stored in the database temporarily. For some period of time, the token will be expired. And if verified token is not authorized, then a server will return invalid request token for middleware to client. Next, user mind map diagram. This diagram shows the flow of what user can do throughout our student section module. First, after user access to our application, they will be landing on home page, so they can log in. After login, they will go to student section. They will see a list of students in section. They can choose to register student or assign group student or generate group student. Furthermore, they also can choose to view info of each student, delete student, and edit group student. That's all for analysis and concept part. Let's move to the next part. Implementation. There are 3 points in this part: register student, assign group, and generate group. Let's go to next slide. Register student. First, we get student from annual. Then user can select options like semester, academic year, and section that they want to register student to. Then they can select student multiple or one by one. If the student existed, then we return message duplicated. But if the student does not exist, then we register the student to section and return message successfully. Next, assign group. For assigning group, in this page we only display student with group NA. User can select group that they want to assign student to, and same as register student. Here user can also multiple or one by one select student. Then we assign student to the selected group and return message successfully. At the end, let's move to the next part. Generate group. In this part, when user click on generate button, modal will pop up and user can select options like degree, grade, section, academic years, and semesters. user have to input number of students per group. After that, user can choose where they want to generate group from, their from, section, and annual. After that, user can click on select button and the group will be generated and the Moodle will be closed. At the end of implementation part, let's move to conclusion. Active difficulty. Let's get the result. Here are the results that I have been working on for the last 2 months. Most of tasks are done, such as register student, view student information, delete student, edit group, assign group, and generate group. Example, show group by filter is incomplete. Let's move to the next slide. Experience and perspective. After I've done this internship program, I have learned and gained some experience from it in both technical and soft skills. I have learned to use some useful plugins and components such as Suite Alert 2, Data Table, and Moodle. Furthermore, I also improved my communication skill as well as teamwork that I enjoy working with new people. For perspective, if I have more time to work on this project, I would like to improve UX and UI of the system, as well as complete incomplete tasks and fixing bugs. To next slide. Difficulty. During this internship, I faced some problems. The first one is understanding project structures. I had to spend time to finally understand some basic concepts of the project and requirement. Second is that timeline. 2 months is a short time before I can use and apply a component into the project. I have to study about the component and watch a lot of tutorials. And the last one is losing concentrations, as working from home is a little different from working at workplace. You work alone without your colleagues, and I do not have good environment, so I easily got distracted by people around me. That's all for conclusion. Let's go to the demonstration. This is the demonstration of student section module. Here is the home page of the system. So assume that users already logged in and users here are people or staff from language section. First of all, let's go to student section. Here's the table that lists all students in section. And there's no student because we haven't registered yet. Let's go to register some student. I'm going to register to Extend Francais and the semester 1. Going to register student this number. Successful. Yes, I register again. We will return applicated. And I'm going to register one more. Register 3 students. Not applicated. Now I can register all. Can select and select. And return notification. Going to register some female students. For some female students here. going to generate some students, and we have to select degree. I'm going to select before section. Click here. Everyone going to have 25 students per group. Can generate from anyone. Below again. Go to here student we just generated earlier. We group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, and we can view their info, the general information, and their academic record. I can edit their group to group number 1. Here's group number 1 and going to delete this student. Here, let's go to assign some students. Select group 1 and can assign one by one. Naming to like to other group. This table here only shows students with an A group. Now if we show this group, you can see that here these are students that already assigned. So this is the end of demonstration. Thank you. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you for taking your time to listen. If you have any questions, I will try my best to answer those questions. Thank you.
Okay, bon. Any question from the jury lecture? Hello, teachers. Bon, Wendy. Good night. Hello.
You kapong tahon home question.
Okay.
If you have questions, you can ask first.
Tin? No. For me, I don't have questions. Not yet.
Yes, let me ask first then. Actually, because it is the same topic as the previous presenter, so I kind of understand the overall scope of your work. So technically, when you get the data from the backend through the API, what is the process of showing it to the front end page? Maybe you can explain, yes, step by step.
Thank you for your question. So in order to get data from that API, we have action that we have a file installed using Vuex. we call that API in action, and then we commit mutation. After that, we use that action in our page by using map action.
That is all of the answer.
Yes, teacher.
Okay. How about presenting the data on the front page? Because I think in Smith we have already like a like a, how do we say it? The format of the data that should be shown on each page. So you just have to follow the format, or do you have to develop a new design in order to show the appropriate data?
Actually, the data here isn't accurate 100% because this is just a sample data only, and we also haven't configured full data yet.
អត់ទេខ្ញុំចង់សួរថាធម្មតាយើងមិនត្រូវ design អា front page ហ្នឹងមិនអញ្ចឹងប៉ុន្តែក្នុង Smith មានជា style មានជាអីហ្នឹងហើយអស់ហើយមិនអញ្ចឹងយើងត្រូវ design បន្ថែមឬមួយក៏គ្រាន់តែយើង follow តាម design ចាស់ហ្នឹងហើយយើងគ្រាន់តែ arrange ទិន្នន័យហ្នឹងដាក់តាម design ចាស់ហ្នឹងយើងមានហៅថា design អីបន្ថែម additional ចូលទៅក្នុងហ្នឹងអត់
For that, I follow the old mockup, and if we study the flow or the interface that it's difficult to implement, then we change it.
Can you talk us through the parts that you change?
For example, in assign group page, we supposed to have two tables, one on the left side and one on the right side, but I couldn't manage to do it, so I have a toggle button to show group instead.
Okay, yeah. I have no more question for now. Maybe the other jury, if you have any question.
I have something. You basically work on the front end, and in your presentation, you try to solve a lot of diagrams, and most of them are the process of the backend. But it's good for you to understand how the backend works, and you use the data to solve in the front end. But actually, when you are responsible for the front end, if you can the MVC process, maybe how in the project structure, where you implement your view, and how you implement your controller, and how you request the data from the backend. It's good if you can show us and know, and maybe we can know how it works in your real project. But you didn't show any basic structure on that. But I just want to ask you something about your. I just want to know your understanding about the technologies you use example like Lumen, Node.js, and maybe Node.js, and how it works. Can you explain us about that?
For Node.js, it's an extend framework from Vue.js, so it is similar to Vue.js, but it's quite easier than Vue that it auto route. Mean you don't need a folder or for routing, and it have layers that we only include the pane in that layer, so we can use that layer for later.
Okay, I don't really hear you clearly, but it's okay. But my recommendation just when you do your presentation on your work based on the front end, it's good if you can show us the working process in maybe in the latter way, how you control the data from you get it from the backend and then you show it in the front end, something like that. Okay, thank you. That's all from me.
Okay. Pandi, Pala, any question?
No,
For me, I just
no.
noticed a bit. Overnight, can you go to slide conclusion? See it. No, before 21. Blah, 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 and so group by filter. Okay. Okay, just it is not a big question, just small question. It means you cannot complete so group by filter. So which factor that you cannot finish?
Sorry, teacher, you mean the
I mean
reason that I cannot complete it?
Yeah. Reason why you cannot complete it?
Because we want to select when we want to select that select group and filter in the same using the same select using the same select area. So it is difficult for me if I add filter, it have bug or something that could not show group other group, only one group.
That's all. Okay.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that's all for me.
Okay, thank you, the presenter, and also thank you, the juries, for the questions. So let's move to the next presentation. So we have, for today's session, we have 2 more presentations. And the last 2 presentations will be of the same topic, and it is a research topic called air writing recognition for Khmer letters. So the first presentation is Miss Onlikong.
Hello teacher and hello to my classmate, my name is Vikram. Today I would like to do a presentation about my research internship at National Olympic Processing and Computer Vision Lab. The topic I'm gonna talk about today is air writing recognition for Khmer letter. The ASCII chapter that I'm gonna cover today Let's move to the introduction part. Let's look at the background of today's topic. What is an OCR? OCR stands for Optical Character Recognition. OCR is a system automatically extract and recognize the character in manuscript. Normally, it can extract and recognize from the PDF file, image, and text. In this project, OCR has been applied to extract character in image. There are 33 characters in Khmer alphabet, so we have to have 33 classes image. Now let's look at the problem statement. The drawback of transition input such as using keyboard, tap on the screen, or using a pen to draw on the screen, a new way of text input by writing on the air. No research has been done for Khmer air writing yet. Let's move to the objective. Our project goal is to conduct a literature review on character recognition and air writing. To be an air writing character recognition for Khmer character and to develop a prototype. Now let's look at the technology part. Machine learning. Machine learning is one of the most today rapidly growing technical fields lying at the intersection of computer science and statistics. Machine learning focuses on the use of data and algorithms to imitate the way that human work, gradually improve its accuracy. Two of the most widely adopted machine learning methods are supervised learning and unsupervised learning. The supervised and reinforcement learning are two other methods that are sometimes used. And for the deep learning is the study of artificial neural network and related to machine learning algorithms that contain more than one hidden layer. Deep learning with an object detection. Object detection network will might resemble to image classification methods and use convolutional layer to detect visual features. Object detection is a supervised machine learning problem, which means you must train your model on labels. And deep learning with an image classification. Image classification is the process of segmenting images into different categories based on their features. CNN is a machine learning algorithm that can take in an input image and then important learnable back to various aspects in the image. What is a neural network? Neural network is a set of algorithms modeled closely after the human brain. They are designed to recognize patterns. Neural network is made of a three layers, namely input layer, hidden layer, and output layer. There are two critical types of the majority of pre-trained models, such as recurrent neural network that mostly work well with the text, and the neural network with memory that are able to capture information stored in sequence in the previous element. And for the convolutional neural network, others in the deep learning community right now mostly cover the basics, such as what is an image and how it is represented. Convolutional are composed of multiple layers and mathematical functions that calculate the weight sum of multiple input and output and activation value. Now let's move to the third chapter, which is a literature review. In the literature review, we can say character recognition is a fundamental but mostly challenge in the field of research in the early days of computer science, due to it being a natural way of intersection between computer and human. More precisely, character recognition is the process of detecting and recognizing character from the input image and convert it into ASCII or other equivalent machine-identifiable form. Recently, researchers have concentrated their effort on creating algorithms for digitized handwriting documents. Deep learning architectures such as on-un, CNN, and low short-term memory network have grown and improved their performance. There are several datasets that are publicly today, such as MinNet, CE, GAP, Yukon. And for the classification methods, I'm going to cover two papers today. The first paper is represented by the PB lineage. It's the process element work together to make the even input data and map it to predefined class or label. And for the second paper, it presented by the CER Convolutional Neural Network reported great success in character recognition. For the related word, there are so much work that have done related to the convolutional neural network, such as the goal in 2015, CNN architecture based on multiple steps, where each step is further based on multiple layers, and try and use 1D-dimensional CNN for the recognition of online handwritten Chinese characters, and he got the accuracy around 98%. Now let's move to the fourth chapter, which is focused on materials and methods. CNN is a very popular for the image classification. Deep learning model CNN is to train and test each input image. We pass it through a series of convolution layer with filter, fully connected layer, and apply summary. Typically, CNN have the following four layers. The first layer is the input layer, representing the input in convolutional neural network. The input is present in the network in a 2D. And the second layer is convolution layer, is the composed of multiple filters or connects. Convolution operations have the following parameters such as filter size, heading, strike, relation, and activation function. And for the third layer is pooling layer. It's used to reduce the number of parameters when the image adds to line. And for the fourth layer is fully connected layer. Now let's look at the post solution. We use a relay as an activation function that can convert to a non-linear. And relay is very powerful since relay have the maximum value between 0 and 8, where 8 is bigger than 0. And for the mask pooling operator for the 2D spatial, the input along its spatial dimension by taking the maximum value over an input window for each channel of the input. And for the soma activation function is used to convert a vector of number into a vector of probability. And for the con2D, mostly it's worked well with the image classification because it has a 2D array. And for the padding, it has a two option with it, the step and valid. Now let's look at the technology and the framework. Our model is implemented on Google Colab with Python 3.8 by using TensorFlow as a library with the second library on NumPy and Matplotlib. And for the implementation part, the archetype of the dataset that we use for training and testing, such as printing with character and handwritten character. The algorithm training for 90% and testing for 10% with different efforts and websites. Our model was trained by 15 layers which consist of different filter size and activation functions. Each image has to convert into 2D matrix, then flatten to 1D. The model selects image from the dataset and split into training and testing set randomly using scikit-learn library. Then the model loads the training and testing that get the raw pixel intensity to the range 0 and 1. Convert the label from integer, initialize, and training the stochastic gradient descent classifier. We use stochastic gradient descent to train model for 15 efforts with a learning rate 0.005. We use category cross and the preloads, then evaluate the classifier and display the accurate result. For evaluate our model, we can evaluate our model by printing a report with the accuracy, precision, and recall our S1 test. Previously talk about how accurate our model is out of those predicted positive. How many of them are actually positive? Previously is a measure to determine when the cost of false positive is high. We can't actually calculate how many of the actual positive our model capture through labeling with our positive. S1 score is the average between prediction and recall. And here is the result that we get from the evaluative report. We get the accuracy around 95% for handwritten character and 97% for the printed character. After we have to research and done the literature review on the existing and related work, we can see convolutional neural network is an architecture that perform well in image classification and object detection. We select 60,500 images of handwritten character and 265 images of printed character randomly. After the experiment, we got printed character is more accurate than handwritten character. And now let's look at the conclusion. Convolutional neural network is a popular deep learning model for classification image. A command character recognition experiment with end-to-end character recognition using TensorFlow. The network is seen on traffic flows and preload on a synthetic dataset reactive programmatically using Python. We hope to develop a model for training and testing command board. By comparing the performance of the text recognition system with and without a language model, we may be able to use the model as starting point for improving future text recognition system. Now let's move to the last part, which is a demonstration. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. Okay, first I just want to know that, okay, this project, you just predicts only one character, not a word, right?
Thank you for your question, teacher. For this project, we only predict for the Khmer alphabet.
Yeah, it means you predict only one character, or you can predict one word?
Oh, only a character, teacher.
Only a character. So, here as I see the last second of video, it means you write the character no and the predict set saw. It is what of the error or?
Because we only get a little of data while training. Like I only get the 500 of image for handwriting character and 792 character for printing text. And when we draw on the air, we can draw smoothly like we draw on our application to collect the data. So when we cannot draw smoothly, it will make the error, and due to the noise of the image, so it cannot predict well.
Okay, let's move to technical question. Okay, I see your slide, maybe number 20. Here. Okay, no. Okay, not this. Okay, maybe this one. Okay, 21. Yeah. Okay, my question is here. Why your model was trained only 15 layer? Why not less than or more than 15 layer?
As we do this project by two people, me and my friend. So first I test for only 2 or 3 layers. It is lessenable. I will increase more until I get the result that is more accuracy, and then I compare the result with my friend to get the final layer, teacher.
Okay, I still don't get it from this. Okay, I'm not sure that your framework that you apply is you apply a CNN, right?
Yes, actually.
So which framework did you use? For example, you use the existing framework of VGG 16 or the framework or something else?
This model was trained by using TensorFlow and Keras.
Yeah, I know it is a TensorFlow and Keras is just we say that a TensorFlow or Keras we just framework for extract the feature, but for the extract the layer, it means for each layer, because you use 15 layer. So I still don't know in your presentation it's which neural network that you use. For example, you use VG16 neural network or other network.
Lúc cô em sao ngày mai lại nâng tích ba này?
Okay, កន្លែងនេះខ្ញុំចង់សួរថាយើងប្រើ TensorFlow យើងប្រើ Keras ហើយហ្នឹងសម្រាប់តា feature extraction តែចង់ដឹងថាទីជំរឿទៅលើ layer មួយដែលយើងប្រើពី layer ទី1ទី2ទី3ដល់ layer 15 តើយើងប្រើអា neural network ណាមួយយើងប្រើ neural network របស់ VGG16 ឬមួយក៏ 19 ឬមួយក៏អីផ្សេងខ្ញុំអត់ដឹងឡើយហ្នឹងណា
lại nóពួកខ្ញុំវា from scratch ទៅគ្រូ
from
ដបងណាហ្នឹងខ្ញុំតែប្រហែលជា2ឬក៏3 layer នៅពេលដែលខ្ញុំតែហ្នឹងទៅវាអត់ត្រូវទេខ្ញុំក៏ថែម layer បន្ទាប់មកដើម្បីតែឲ្យត្រូវហើយបន្តមកទៀតខ្ញុំក៏បានយកអា layer ដែលតែត្រូវហ្នឹងទៅ train data ទាំងអស់ហ្នឹងធំដបងហើយខ្ញុំតែ5អក្សរសិនទេបើនៅក្នុង map វិញដោយសារតែហ្នឹងយើងដឹងថា input វាជាអក្សរកហើយយើងធ្វើមិនបាន output វា predict ជាអក្សរកអញ្ចឹងនៅចល័តពី input ទៅ output ហ្នឹងវាជាលក្ខណៈជាអនុគមមួយដែលនៅក្នុងអនុគមហ្នឹងយើងដឹងថាវាជាអនុគមអីទេអញ្ចឹងយើងអាចយកអនុគមហ្នឹងមក construct បូកចូលគ្នាលក្ខណៈជាអនុគមបណ្ដាដើម្បីរកអា layer នៅខាងក្នុងហ្នឹង
អូខេអញ្ចឹងកន្លែងអូខេរូបនោះយើងប្រាប់មកគឺមាន15 layer គេដែលវាមានគេថា relu គេបូកជាមួយនឹង pooling អីហ្នឹងវាមានដល់ទៅអាចថា13 layer ហើយ fully connected បូកជាមួយនឹង dense layer ចុះអាកន្លែង first hidden layer យើងដាក់32 filter អាហ្នឹង filter របស់យើងស្ដៅលើគេ filter ហ្នឹង32 64 128សំដៅលើគេ filter ហ្នឹង
អាហ្នឹង filter image មួយខ្ញុំប្រើ Con2D ទៅគ្រូដល់ពេលអញ្ចឹង filter វា32ហើយខ្ញុំដាក់ canal វា
32 filter មិនមែនបានន័យថាវាជា32 feature
ដូចជាអាហ្នឹង filter តែខ្ញុំប្រើ Con2D
ព្រួយធម្មតាតាមមួយ layer វាមាន feature ច្រើនសម្រាប់ layer ទី1អញ្ចឹងវាមានប្រហែល feature ឧទាហរណ៍ដាក់ហ្នឹង32 filter ប្រហែលជាវាមាន32 feature ហើយកន្លែងហ្នឹងបានជាដាក់32ហើយចំណែកឯដល់ទៅអាទី5 hidden ទី4រហូតដល់ទី7វាមាន64 filter ប្រហែលជាមាន64 feature អញ្ចឹងមកថាក្នុងមួយ feature យើងតេស្តមក feature មួយរហូតដល់64 feature ដើម្បីបានព័ត៌មានមកអូខេសំណួរភ្ជាប់ហ្នឹងមួយទៀតគឺតើ
ហ្នឹងហើយខ្ញុំប្រហែលជាបន្ថែមតិចនៅហ្នឹងបន្លាតើតងមួយសំណួរបន្លាយលើកមុនហ្នឹងគឺអត់មានបាន follow existing architecture ដែលមានស្រាប់ដូច VGG ដូចអីទេនេះគឺពួកគាត់ build from scratch អញ្ចឹង layer មួយហ្នឹងគឺប្រើ convolutional layer ហើយដើម្បីស្វែងរកអា hyper parameter ថាមាន15 layer ហ្នឹងគឺគាត់ចាប់ផ្ដើមដំបូងពី2 layer សិនហើយបន្តមកធ្វើ experiment ទៅហើយ evaluate model ហ្នឹងទៅបើសិនជាឃើញresult ហ្នឹងវាអត់តល្អទេក៏ increase ម្ដងមួយ layer រហូតដល់បានចំនួន layer ចុងក្រោយហ្នឹងមានប៉ុណ្ណឹងឃើញថា accuracy វា good enough ហើយក៏ stop តាមហ្នឹងទៅហើយនោះដោយសារ limitation នៃtraining ដែរព្រោះ training នៅលើ Google Colab នៅលើម៉ាស៊ីនផ្ទាល់ខ្លួនទេអញ្ចឹងវាបានតែប៉ុណ្ណឹងអញ្ចឹងប៉ុណ្ណឹងវា maximum អញ្ចឹងគឺយើងឈប់តាមហ្នឹងទៅហើយតាក់ទងជាមួយនឹង setting 32 filter ហ្នឹងអាហ្នឹងគឺជា setting នៃ convolutional layer ជាទូទៅយើងត្រូវ specify ថាតើក្នុងមួយ convolutional layer ហ្នឹងយើងត្រូវប្រមាណ filter ហ្នឹងអញ្ចឹងដូចបន្លាយនិយាយអញ្ចឹងមក filter គឺដើម្បី look for one pattern អញ្ចឹងអាវាជា specification នៃ convolutional layer
អូខេហ្នឹងហើយខ្ញុំចង់ដោយច្បាស់ទៅលើព្រោះស្អីដោយសារយើងប្រើ from scratch អញ្ចឹងវាថាជាមានគេត្រូវ experiment ច្រើនមកអាចទាញបានអញ្ចឹងគេភ្ជាប់សំណួរកន្លែងហ្នឹងហេតុអីបានជាយើងដឹងថាពី layer ទី3ទៅទី4ហ្នឹងវាខុស filter គ្នា
អាឡៃហ្នឹងខ្ញុំតែកាលនៅគ្រូខ្ញុំទៅដាក់32អត់ត្រូវខ្ញុំដាក់64ហ្មងទៅតែខ្ញុំដឹងថាពេលដាក់ filter ហ្នឹងយើងត្រូវដាក់លេខពីទូចទៅធំលេខ2ស្វ័យកូនមែនអីចឹង
អូខេចឹងសំណួរមួយទៀតតកតងមួយ epoch យើងប្រើចំនួន15 epoch ហើយយើងឃើញ rate យើងគឺ 0.005 ហ្នឹងតើមួយ epoch ទៅមួយ epoch នោះវាឃើញ rate វាដូចគ្នាទាំងអស់ឬក៏ខុសគ្នាខ្លះពេលដែលយើង train ណា
ពីមួយ epoch ទៅមួយ epoch rate វាខុសគ្នាវាកើនឡើង rate ហ្នឹងគឺកើនឡើង accuracy គឺកើនឡើងហើយ loss នៃ data ហ្នឹងគឺវា lower ទៅរហូតដល់គ្រូតែដោយសារតា data របស់ខ្ញុំគឺស្តៀងគ្នាខ្ញុំ generate ពួក printing text ណាខ្ញុំ generate ប្រើ Python អញ្ចឹងអក្សរវាស្តៀងគ្នាពីព្រោះថាខ្មែរ font គឺមានតិចខ្ញុំ generate អញ្ចឹង mostly data វាស្តៀងគ្នាគ្រាន់តែដូរបានតែ dimension នេះ
អូខេគេសំណួរចុងក្រោយតាក់ទងជាមួយនឹង keyword ដែលយើងប្រើក្នុងដូចជាក្នុង conclusion ហ្នឹងខ្ញុំឃើញថាcross entropy thì ai vô bá sẽ cái cross entropy nữa
នៅក្នុង cross entropy ហ្នឹងដូចមានចែកចេញជា category cross entropy ហើយមាន sphere loss entropy អីទៀតវាគឺជារង្វង់មួយដើម្បីកំណត់នៅព័ត៌មាននៃតែរយើងដែលវាបៀទៅលើ entropy ហ្នឹងដើម្បីរក loss របស់វានៅពេលដែលយើង optimize model ហ្នឹងដូចជាជាមួយនឹង logistic regression ឬក៏ artificial neural network
ចឹង cross entropy ហ្នឹងអត់បានន័យថាមិនបានន័យថាយើងចេះ entropy មួយនៃរូបភាពហ្នឹងហើយតមកទៀតយើងយកអាតម្លៃដែលយើងបានពីរូបភាពមួយទៅប្រើជាមួយរូបភាពមួយទៀតទេពាក្យ cross entropy យើងណាយើងមើលដូចជា slide អាកន្លែង conclusion ដូចជាហាក់ជា20ជាងមើលទៅ20គេមិនអាចស្គាល់ទៅ27អីហ្នឹងកន្លែងនេះ the network is a CNN trained with cross entropy គេក៏ខ្ញុំចាំជាក់ឲ្យច្បាស់អាពាក្យ cross entropy យើងនេះបើថាសំណួរខ្ញុំអាចទី1ខ្ញុំសួរថាអីគេ cross entropy បន្តមកទៀតថាតើ cross entropy ហ្នឹងមិនមែនយើងគណនារក entropy របស់រូបភាពមួយហើយបានទិន្នន័យពីរូបភាពមួយហើយយើងយកអាទិន្នន័យរបស់ entropy ទៅប្រើជាមួយនឹងរូបភាពផ្សេងទៀត
អាឡៃនេះ
ឬក៏យើង
អាចដាក់វាបាននៅពេលដែលយើងមើលដូចយើងបើក image មួយចឹងវាបង្ហាញ cross entropy មិនបានយើងបោះហ្នឹងទៅប្រើខាងក្រោយទៀត
Okay, so yes, I think for me that's all. Okay, thank you.
អរគុណលោកគ្រូ
ខ្ញុំសូមចូលរួមបន្តិចខ្ញុំអាចអូទីណាយ៉ាងទីនសួរអត់ទេបងអាចសួរបានសម្រាប់ខ្ញុំអត់មានបទពិសោធន៍លើ CNN ទេប៉ុន្តែបើតាមដែលខ្ញុំមើលទៅ topic ហ្នឹងជាដំបូងគឺមានថាយើងចង់ recognize air handwriting ខ្ញុំចង់និយាយថាខ្ញុំចង់ spot ទៅលើចំណុចដែល difficulty នៅក្នុង project មានន័យថាបើយើងសម័យមើលថាបើសិនយើងមានអក្សរសរសេរដែលដៃនៅលើ text ហើយយកអក្សរទាំងអស់ហ្នឹងទៅធ្វើ recognition សិនសំណួរចង់សួរថាតើវាអាចប្រហែលភាគរយដែលយើងអាចប្រើ deep learning ឬក៏ machine learning algorithm ណាមួយដែលអាច predict ទៅមាន high accuracy ហ្នឹងគឺជាសំណួរមួយចង់ឲ្យធ្វើជា literature review ទី2ខ្ញុំគិតថា project ហ្នឹងពិបាកជាងគេគឺ data collection ដោយសារយើងទៅសេលើ air លើខ្យល់អញ្ចឹងសំណួរសួរថាយើងប្រើអីគេដើម្បី collect data ហើយមួយទៀតខ្ញុំចង់សួរថាការសរសេរនៅលើខ្យល់ហ្នឹងបើសិនខ្ញុំសរសេរលឿនតើ detection ដែលយើង collect data ហ្នឹងចាប់បានអត់ data preparation ហ្នឹងធ្វើបានអត់ព្រោះថាដោយសារយើង train តែ5-6 character អញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំឃើញយើងសរសេរក្នុងវីដេអូគឺ slow មែនទែនហើយជាក់ស្ដែងបើយើងសរសេរក៏អត់សរសេរ slow យ៉ាងដែរអញ្ចឹងចង់សួរថាតើយើងមានអីតាក់ទងជាមួយនឹង data collection ហ្នឹងធ្វើម៉េចឲ្យវាមានប្រសិទ្ធភាពក្នុងការ collect data បានមករៀងល្អហើយតាក់ទងនឹង recognition លើអក្សរខ្ញុំគិតថាបើសិនជាយើងមាន data ច្រើនដែលយើងទៅសេនៅលើกระดาษធម្មតាយើង extract វាសិនជា image ហើយយកវាទៅ train ហើយយើង recognition វាប្រហែលជាយើងគិតថាវាអាចមាន data ច្រើនដើម្បី train ចឹងទៅអញ្ចឹងមានថា prediction ឬក៏ recognition របស់យើងនឹងវាអាចមាន accuracy ខ្ពស់ accuracy ខ្ពស់ហ្នឹងគឺជាចំណុចខ្ញុំចង់និយាយហើយមួយទៀតខ្ញុំចង់បញ្ជាក់ថាយើងធ្វើលើហ្នឹងខ្ញុំឃើញយើងប្រើជា CNN របស់ TensorFlow អញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំអត់ដឹងថាតើយើងបាន deep ទៅលើអា basic របស់ flow របស់វាអត់ខ្ញុំចង់និយាយចឹងតែខ្ញុំគិតទៅក្នុងចិត្តទេគ្រាន់តែបើសិនជាយើងអាច understand ហ្នឹងគឺវាប្រហែលជាប្រសើរដល់ពេលដែលយើងប្រើ software របស់គេមកហើយជាសំណួររបស់ខ្ញុំផ្ទាល់ខ្ញុំចង់សួរកន្លែងថាយើងដឹងថាមាននៅក្នុង convolutional neural network ហ្នឹងមាន activation function អត់ហើយបើសិនជាមាន function ហ្នឹងជា function ប្រភេទអីដែរទី1ចំណុចមួយទៀតដែលខ្ញុំចង់សួរ Chắc là chúng mình đang bài nào thì mình cái lại evaluation. Yeah. Em trong số ta ở dương đặt precision bao dương là dương cho true positive nó hay năng false positive nó. Sầm số ta true positive nó result bao dương nó vi behind bị ấy hay false positive nó vi behind bị ấy. Đại dương recognition này.
Con nó cố gắng xong rồi từ bóng nãy bây giờ nhầm thưa literature review nữa nhầm and packet phía chán cái thưa là English mùi năng Chinese better là bây giờ để ta tại cái collect máu mà xó đôi trẻ sau e chắc 20 và mỗi bên rốt đã rốt kê mỗi mùi nắng kê từ xe đòi mình được xem cái nia tiền chắc để ta cái sở này hai nhom quá nhom từ xe tại là for handwriting ខ្ញុំទៅសេនៅលើ painting app នៅក្នុង video យើងណាដើម្បី collect data ហើយសម្រាប់ printing character វិញខ្ញុំប្រើ Python ដើម្បី generate ជា image មកហើយនៅពេលដែលខ្ញុំ generate បានខ្ញុំ design image ហ្នឹងទៅជា128 pixel ដើម្បី train ឬក៏64 pixel ដើម្បី train ហើយនៅក្នុង activation function ណាមានដូចជា sigma រលើ activation function ហើយមាន tension ឬក៏ sin ដែលជា activation function ដែលដូចជាក្នុងអានេះក្នុង model របស់ខ្ញុំហ្នឹងខ្ញុំប្រើជារលួយដោយសារតែរលួយហ្នឹងលក្ខណៈថាយើងបាន data មកវាមាន positive មួយ negative នៅពេលដែលយើងប្រើរលួយទៅអា data negative ហ្នឹងវានឹង convert ទៅជា 0 ហើយ stay positive នៅដដែលហើយសម្រាប់ true positive ពេលដែល evaluate model ហ្នឹងខ្ញុំប្រើតាម confusion matrix លោកគ្រូសូមមើល slide ទៅខាងក្រោយបន្តិចណាកន្លែង appendix
យ៉ាឃើញទេយើងឃើញ
សម្រាប់អានកន្លែងហ្នឹងខ្ញុំប្រើជា confusion matrix ដែល confusion matrix ហ្នឹងចែកចេញជា 4 គឺ true positive false negative false positive ហើយមួយទៀតគឺ true negative លក្ខណៈថាខ្ញុំអាកន្លែងហ្នឹងខ្ញុំសូមបញ្យល់ចំណុច general បានទេលោកគ្រូ
នៅក្នុងបច្ចេករបស់យើង classify យើង predict sorry យើង recognition នៅលើ character ហ្នឹងគួរតែ apply វាឲ្យចំហ្នឹងឧទាហរណ៍ឲ្យចំ
លក្ខណៈថា image ហ្នឹងគឺជា raw នៃ pixel ដល់ពេលចឹងទៅយើងដាក់ image ចូលវាទៅជាពេលដែលវាជា raw នៃ pixel ទៅវានឹង create ទៅជា matrix ហើយពេលដែលបាន matrix ហ្នឹងយើងត្រូវ convert matrix ហ្នឹងម្ដងទៀត
តាមពិតកន្លែងនេះខ្ញុំគិតថាប្រហែលយើងប្រហែលជាអាចច្រឡំហ្នឹងឬក៏អាចថាខ្ញុំអត់សូវយល់ច្បាស់តើតើនឹង evaluation កន្លែងនេះជាទូទៅឆ្លើយថា confusion matrix វាជា evaluation method មួយប៉ុន្តែពេលខ្លះវាមិនអាចត្រូវគ្រប់សម្រាប់learning task របស់យើងមានន័យថាយើងជា recognition ហើយអ្វីខ្ញុំចង់សួរទៀតថា true positive បើសិនយើងទាយថាអក្សរកយើងមើលឃើញថាអក្សរកតែដល់ពេល model យើងទាយថាអក្សរខសំណួរសួរថានឹងជា true positive false positive ឬក៏ false negative ហើយបើសិនជា false positive ឬក៏ false negative សួរថាតើ what does it mean អញ្ចឹងមានន័យថាកន្លែងនេះបើសិនជាវាមានអត្ថន័យដែលគ្រប់គ្រាន់បានយើងអាចប្រើ confusion matrix យកទៅធ្វើជា evaluation method ឲ្យនៅក្នុង learning task របស់យើងតោះនិយាយ
ចា៎
មានន័យថាយើងមិនប្រឌិតថាគេសរសេរអក្សរក method machine learning របស់យើងត្រូវទាយថាវាត្រូវអក្សរកបើកហើយកវាប្រកាសជា true positive ហើយចុះបើសិនយើងសរសេរកវាចេញខអាហ្នឹងជាអីគេខ្ញុំចង់សួរថាវាជា false positive ឬក៏ false negative
false negative
សួរថា how do we false negative what does it mean
ដោយសារតែអាហ្នឹងលក្ខណៈថាពេលដែលខ្ញុំមើលនៅក្នុង website ទៅបើវា predict ដូចនឹងអ្វីដែលគេ expect វាគឺជា true positive តែបើយើង expect អញ្ចឹងតែ predict ចេញផ្សេងអាហ្នឹងជា false positive
ខ្ញុំគិតថាប្រហែលជា confusion matrix អត់ត្រូវជា method ទេតែគាត់ថាគេលោកថាខ្ញុំ research បន្តិចយើងអាចធ្វើ research time គ្រាន់តែជាសំណួរហើយជា suggestion តាមពិត true positive true negative ហ្នឹងគេឧទាហរណ៍ថាចេះតើតទៅនឹងជំងឺអញ្ចឹងណាឧទាហរណ៍ថាជំងឺហ្នឹងគេចង់ទាយថាយើងកើតថាលើថាជំងឺលើសឈាមចុះបើសិនជា model របស់យើងនៅពេលដែលយើងបាន indicator ចេញពីមនុស្សហ្នឹងហើយ data ហើយអា model របស់យើង analyze ថាម្នាក់ហ្នឹងអត់កើតជំងឺលើសឈាមទេអញ្ចឹងយើងគិតមើលមនុស្សជាក់ស្ដែងគាត់កើតជំងឺលើសឈាមហើយដល់ពេល system យើងទាយថាអត់កើតជំងឺលើសឈាមអញ្ចឹងអាហ្នឹងគេហៅថាវាជា false negative ហេតុអីមិន false negative system យើងទាយខុសហើយ negative មានន័យថាគឺវាអវិជ្ជមានសម្រាប់មនុស្សដោយសារគាត់គិតថាគាត់ហ្នឹងអត់ឈឺទេតែតាមពិតគាត់ឈឺហើយក៏អត់ទៅទទួល treatment គាត់ប្រកាសជា dying អាហ្នឹងមានន័យថា false negative មានន័យអញ្ចឹងតោះណាហើយបើសិនជា false positive មានន័យថាម៉េចគាត់អត់ឈឺតែដល់ពេល system ទាយថាឈឺអញ្ចឹងមនុស្សយើងទៅពេទ្យទទួលថ្នាំអញ្ចឹងមានថាវាទាយខុសដែរប៉ុន្តែវា positive ដោយសារគាត់ទៅទទួលថ្នាំគាត់អត់ស្លាប់ទេទោះបីមិនក៏គាត់អត់ស្លាប់ដែរដោយសារគាត់អត់ឈឺគាត់ប្រើថ្នាំគាត់អីដែរចឹងគាត់អាចថាមាន allergy តិចតួចចុះអញ្ចឹងអាហ្នឹងมันគេហៅថា false positive អញ្ចឹងនៅពេលហ្នឹងបានយើងប្រើ confusion matrix ដើម្បីទៅ evaluate ឲ្យ model របស់យើងបានតែក្នុងករណីនេះខ្ញុំអត់ដឹងថាតើគេលោកថាខ្ញុំដូចនិយាយថាខ្ញុំ research នៅតិចយើងអាចធ្វើមើល time ថាតើ confusion matrix ហ្នឹងអាចប្រើសម្រាប់ធ្វើ evaluate ទៅលើអា character recognition របស់យើងអត់បងណា
ចាកូន
Okay, that's all from me.
ព្រោះគ្រូយើងនៅមកសម្រាប់សួរទៀតទេ
អូ sorry ពុកមកច្រើន
អាចបានមកសំណួរទៀត
បាទលោកនិយាយទៅ research really interesting លោកប៉ុន្តែគាត់ថាពេលខ្លះត្រូវអាននៅច្រើនទីចឹងដែរឬធ្វើ research យើងត្រូវតែ read
ហ្នឹងហើយតាមពិតដូចបណ្ណាដែលនិយាយកន្លែង true positive for positive ហ្នឹងវាក្នុង application មួយនេះវាអត់ very significant ដូចនៅក្នុងឧទាហរណ៍ថាដូចcancer detection នៃដែលឬមួយក៏ covid detection នៃដែលវាមាន very different significant រវាងevaluation matrix មួយហ្នឹងគ្រាន់ថានេះអ្វីដែលពួកគាត់ធ្វើហ្នឹង true positive ហ្នឹងដូចនិយាយមកអញ្ចឹងបានន័យថាបើសិនជា real data គឺអក្សរកហើយ system យើង predict ថាអក្សរកដែរហ្នឹងយើងកំណត់ថាហ្នឹង true positive ចាំបានន័យថាអញ្ចឹងព្រោះគាត់ evaluate មិនរួមគ្នាគាត់ evaluate តាម class មួយហ្នឹងអញ្ចឹងសំខាន់យើង assign ថាស្អីជា positive ហើយស្អីជា negative អញ្ចឹងគេថាបើសិនជា evaluate លើ accuracy លើអក្សរកអញ្ចឹងយកថាអក្សរកហ្នឹងគឺជា positive អាណាដែលមិនមែនជាអក្សរកទេអាហ្នឹង negative ចឹងទៅតែមែនតើអាហ្នឹងវាមិនសូវត្រូវប្រហែលនេះតកតងជាមួយនឹង application មួយហ្នឹងព្រោះវាអត់សូវមានជា significant នេះបាទ
បានលោកគ្រូប៉ុន្តែបើសិនជាចង់ evaluate អញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំ suggest ចេះវិញលោកគ្រូឧទាហរណ៍ថាឥឡូវ real data យើងអក្សរកប៉ុន្មានមកថា real data អក្សរក10ឥឡូវដាក់ចូល system count ចេញ10អត់អញ្ចឹងយើងធ្វើអាហ្នឹងជាលក្ខណៈ weighted average ទៅដល់យកវាចែកគ្នាជា percentage មកថាឥឡូវអក្សរក10 real ដល់ពេលអក្សរដាក់ចូល system វាថា8អញ្ចឹងមានថាយើងទីបាន8លើ10អញ្ចឹង accuracy 80% មានថាយើងរកវា exact អក្សរមកវាមិនមែន true positive true negative លោកគ្រូចង់អញ្ចឹងអញ្ចឹង evaluation របស់យើងគឺយើង count ហើយយើងចែកចំនួនគ្នា
អូខេណាអញ្ចឹងទីនមិនមានសំណួរអីហ៎
អរិយគ្រូខ្ញុំក្រមមានយោបល់បន្តិចតើតោងនៅហ្នឹងដំបូងខ្ញុំមើល topic ទៅ topic យើងដាក់ថា writing recognition for Khmer letter ដំបូងខ្ញុំគិតទៅវារៀង confused តិចតែខ្ញុំប៉ុន្តែនៅក្នុង project របស់យើងបានន័យថាយើងមែនតើយើងបែងចែកជា2 section 1 drawing drawing ហ្នឹងបានន័យយើងត្រូវប្រើប៊ិចភ្លើងដើម្បីនឹង draw ហើយខ្ញុំចង់ដឹងថានៅពេលដែលយើង detect pixel ដែលថាប៊ិចវា draw ហ្នឹងយើងប្រើ library អីគេឬក៏យើង learn វាខ្លួនឯងហើយប្រើស្អីគេប្រើ OpenCV ឬក៏មិននៅក្នុងហ្នឹង lư nhom vậy
Nó cô xong rồi mình đang tiếp bên này đã ra nó đang nhom bên kia sao bạn lên
ok nơi nó là nay để dương chạp à số mà nay thay dương cu đợi bịch á anh ấy dương pra cái pra lại pari cái muối rồi cái dương pra open CV còn nãy là bịch rồi đại email mình nữa
អាហ្នឹងខ្ញុំអាចនិយាយមកទៅអាហ្នឹងការងាររបស់កំហុង next presenter គាត់ជាអ្នករៀបចំ user interface អ្នក design interface ដើម្បី capture drawing
បាទហើយមួយទៀតយើងនៅក្នុង slide ហ្នឹងយើងមានយើង introduce ទាក់ទងនឹង recurrent network តែពិតមែនទែនទៅយើងប្រើតែ CNN ហ្នឹងទាក់ទងនឹងយើង image detection បើយើងគិតទៅនៅក្នុង TensorFlow វាមាន example មួយ basic example របស់វាទាក់ទងនឹងអាហ្នឹងវា detect ទាក់ទងប្រភេទ AO អីចឹងយើងអាចទូទៅប្រហែលជាយើងយកអាហ្នឹងជា example ដើម្បីនឹង train អានេះមែនទែនទៅវាលក្ខណៈ CNN ធម្មតាតែបើសិនជា topic ហ្នឹងល្អបើសិនជាខ្ញុំគិតថាល្អបើសិនជាយើងអាច apply លក្ខណៈ ONN recurrent neural network ហ្នឹងព្រោះយើងអាច predict real time ហ្មងប៉ុន្តែនៅក្នុងករណីនេះបានន័យថាយើងយក image ហ្នឹងមក predict ធម្មតាទូទៅអាហ្នឹងវាថា CNN ហ្នឹងទូទៅគេធ្វើច្រើនប៉ុន្តែបើសិនជាវារៀងយើងទៅរៀងហើយបន្តិចហើយវាអាចប្រើONN ហ្នឹងតែខ្ញុំក៏អត់ដឹងច្រើនដែរប៉ុន្តែខ្ញុំគិតថាបើសិនជាធ្វើអញ្ចឹងបានអាហ្នឹងវាជា research ល្អហើយខ្ញុំឃើញថាគ្នាយើងចាប់ research អញ្ចឹងវា good start ហើយថាយើងទៅមុខទៀតយើងដឹងច្រើនទាក់ទងនឹង research ប៉ុន្តែនៅក្នុងCNN ហ្នឹងមែនទែនទៅខ្ញុំអត់ដើរគ្នាយើងattempt ម្ដងឯងក្នុងការដែល train model មួយហ្នឹងហើយជាបើសិនជាយើងអាចនឹង train វាច្រើនវាអាច different layer different parameter value high parameter ទាក់ទងដូចជា epoch learning rate ឬក៏ batch size អីទាំងអស់នេះបើយើងធ្វើអាហ្នឹងចឹងវាអាចនឹងឲ្យយើងបាន train model ល្អហើយអានេះដោយសារយើងធ្វើឡើងលើ CNN ធម្មតាប៉ុន្តែដោយលោកគ្រូផល្លាបាននិយាយចឹងបើសិនជាយើងអាចព្យាយាមនៅក្នុងលើប្រភេទ model design របស់គេដូចជា VGP ឬក៏ ResNet ជាទូទៅនៅក្នុង CNN ResNet វា current state វាជា state of art នៃ image processing បើសិនជាយើងអាចធ្វើពួកអាហ្នឹងបានវាអាច accuracy វាខ្ពស់ជាងហើយអូខេខ្ញុំដែលអត់មានអីទេជា idea របស់ខ្ញុំដែលខ្ញុំចង់បន្ថែមពីលើហ្នឹងអរគុណច្រើនគ្រូ
អរគុណលោកគ្រូ
Okay, yes, thank you for all the questions from the juries. I think maybe if you have any more questions, we can ask in the next presentation because they do the same thing. It is the same project. Okay. So let's move on to the next presentation, the last presentation of today's session. It will be presented by Mr. Kim Hong. Và nát đã upload dùm lấy.
Research implementation experiment after. Hello teacher, my name is
Okay. Topic
yeah, writing recognition for Khmer letter.
ខ្ញុំគិតថាតើខ្ញុំបើកមុនដែរមិនលឺខ្ញុំអត់ដឹងថាមិនដែរនេះនៅលើដល់សា
then method that I use for
រៀងលឺខ្សោយបងអត់ទៅលឺ
សំឡេងហ្នឹងលឺខ្សោយហ្មង
experiment after this research demonstration. Let's begin with the introduction. What does the topic talk about? This topic is all about making computer to understand Khmer
Khmer letters. So basically, we give an input of Khmer letters image and let computer predict what is the alphabet for that image. But why? Why I chose this topic? The first reason is we all know that Khmer letters are difficult to type because there are so many letters and alphabets. Second, it has less research on this topic, especially for Khmer letters. The goal in this research develop a system and algorithm to recognize Khmer letters when doing ad writing. Second, building a prototype, the actual program to take input, process the input, and give back the result of the input. For the method, there are so many ways we can choose to achieve the goals. The first one is to program computer manually with bunch of if-else statements, but it would be a nightmare for computers, so that is a no answer. Another approach is to use deep learning, but again, there's so many algorithms in deep learning, so we have to choose a right one, and that is convolutional neural network, or CNN for short. So what is CNN? CNN is a class of artificial neural network. It's a really powerful algorithm for images, especially for image classification. It has a kernel, and that kernel goes through images to take shape in the image, and it uses that shape as a reference to predict. And about tool, I use 3 tools in this research. The first one is TensorFlow. TensorFlow is a deep learning framework which has lots of built-in features to make deep learning easier. Second, OpenCV is another tool that lets us write programs to detect patterns, draw on screen, process images, and more. And finally, Python, a programming language used in those 2 libraries. Moving to the next part, which is implementation. Starting with the dataset. Because of the time-consuming and resources, we don't have enough resources, I am able to collect only 15 letters or 15 classes, which each class has 1,000 images. Dataset is separated into 2 types. The first one is handwritten text on computer screen, and another one is handwritten text on air. For the models, this is my algorithm. The yellow one are convolutional layers, blue is fully connected layer, and green is dense layer. This algorithm doesn't follow any formulas in order to get a better result. I construct it based on the actual experiment, starting with only few layers, then I add more layers, test it, then add more and test it until I got this algorithm. After the training, these are the results of each letter. These are the accuracy of testing and the actual experiment. For testing, I got the average of 50% of the accuracy and only 30% for the real-time experiment. In conclusion, I have built a system that can recognize Khmer letters based on the drawing patterns, but this system needs to be improved in order to achieve more accuracy. In the future, I hope I can collect more data set for more letters. Hopefully, I can get all 33 letters and construct a better algorithm for training, testing, and make the model more accurate. And that's all for the presentation. And you will see the demonstration after that. Thank you.
Yes, I think it is the same demonstration as the previous presenter, so maybe we can go ahead to the Q&A session. Any question from the jury?
Tim, any question?
Okay, I have a question because it related to the previous presentation, and my question is the same. I want to know how you create an image based on the handwriting. Maybe you use the lining pen, and maybe it's like that. And what is the algorithm to detect that? I see you use the OpenCV. Do they have any library to detect that, or you write your own algorithm?
Thank you, teacher. For that, I only use OpenCV to detect the colors. So, which color I want OpenCV to detect? For this project, I chose blue. So whenever OpenCV see the capture the blue color, it will give me the coordinate of that point. So I use that point as the reference, and then I use it to draw on the air, and then crop it and process it into the actual image.
And you mean like you wrote your own algorithm, your own technique?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
But how about the frame rate? I saw it like very slow, right?
I can't hear you clearly.
Is it slow?
Raining.
I mean the frame rate. Is it slow when you try to?
Yeah, it's a little bit slow. It can give only 30 frames per second. It's quite a bit slow.
Yeah, I think so. But you didn't work on the scene, and
I do. Lee Kong and I work on different algorithm, and then we combine it and discuss which layer to use, how many layers to use, so on.
And I want to know when you learn on the TensorFlow, and maybe you see the example of the TensorFlow, they also do the CNN on the same thing, but on the same language, English, but they also work on the letter recognition.
Can I have a question again?
Do you know the model, like the TensorFlow also has a model?
Yeah.
They also learn about the letter, but English letter. Do you know about that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, but did you compare the result between their model and your model, the difference of the accuracy? I mean, you use the TensorFlow example model and train with the our Khmer letter, our Khmer character, and your own model.
No. I construct the model from scratch and didn't follow any example or anything.
Yes, I know that you didn't copy from any other, but I just want to know that the accuracy between your own model and the model from the TensorFlow. Actually, even they use the English letter, but it's also possible to apply our letters into that model. But if you compare between your model and the TensorFlow model, I just want to know our model is performing better than the TensorFlow model or not.
I don't know on that one because I know that TensorFlow does have models, but I don't know the accuracy that they have generated, so I can't compare it.
I see. Okay, but I think I said again, it's a good start for you to do this research, and I appreciate your work, and you have a long way to go. Okay, that's all for my questions. Thank you, teacher.
Any other questions?
ខ្ញុំសូមសួរថែមតិចទៀតចង់សួរថាចេះខ្ញុំសួរខ្មែរហ្មងយើងមាន data តាក់ទងជាមួយនឹង drawing take on air តើគ្នាយើងមុននោះគ្នាយើងប្រើ computer ដើម្បី draw ហ្មងតើ
បាទ
អញ្ចឹងយើងប្រើ computer ដូចគ្នា
អត់ផងផ្សេងគ្នា
ចែកថាយើងប្រើកុំសរសេរលើ computer យើងដូចគ្នាឬក៏យើងប្រើអីដើម្បី capture អក្សរដែលសរសេរលើខ្យល់ហ្នឹង
អក្សរដែលសរសេរលើខ្យល់គឺខ្ញុំសរសេរជា program ដល់ពេលអក្សរដែលគាត់សរសេរនៅលើ computer screen របស់គាត់ហ្នឹងគឺគាត់software របស់ Windows ដើម្បីសរសេរ
ចង់ថា text ដែលយើង text នេះយើងคลิกបានតាមណាចង់សួរ
data set ទាំងអស់គឺមាន3ទី1គឺ printing text គឺយើង download font ពី internet បន្តមកទៀត generate letter ចេញពី font ហ្នឹង2គឺអក្សរដែលយើងគូសទៅលើ screen អញ្ចឹងយើងប្រើ software របស់ Windows យើងគូសនៅលើ screen បន្ទាប់មក crop វាចេញជា image ចុងក្រោយគេគឺ on air គឺយើងបើក webcam យើងសរសេរ program ឲ្យវា detect color បន្ទាប់មកទៀតយើងគូសចេញជា pattern ហើយ generate វាទៅជា image
ជុំអញ្ចឹងមានន័យថាយើងបើក webcam មកហើយយើងសរសេរនៅមុខ webcam ហ្នឹងបានអីសរសេរពីលើសរសេរលើខ្យល់ហ្នឹងត្រូវអត់
បាទ
អូខេអញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំចង់សួរយើងចេះអញ្ចឹងមានថាយើងសរសេរនៅលើខ្យល់តែម្ដងយើងប្រើ webcam ចង់សួរថា process ដើម្បី extract ទៅនេះបានមាន process អីគេបាក់នៅក្នុង
ជាដំបូងគឺ detect color អញ្ចឹងពេលដែល detect color ទៅគឺ OpenCV វាឲ្យ coordinate នៅលើមកអញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំប្រើ coordinate ហ្នឹង
ខ្ញុំទៅយល់ថាតាមពិតពួកយើងសរសេរលើกระดาษដែរប៉ុន្តែបានដាក់ webcam ឲ្យវាថតឃើញហ្មងឬក៏សរសេរនៅលើអីដើម្បីចេញ color ខ្ញុំចង់សួរចេះមានអីសរសេរចេញ color សរសេរលើខ្យល់
ខ្ញុំសរសេរដូចនៅក្នុង demo អញ្ចឹងលោក collect ហើយនឹង predict គឺដូចគ្នា
ប៉ុន្តែមិនចេញ color ឥឡូវខ្ញុំដាក់ដៃសរសេរយកដៃសរសេរធម្មតាអញ្ចឹងមិនចេញខ្យល់ហើយដាក់ webcam ថតហ្នឹងថតដៃហ្នឹងមិនចេញពណ៌បាន
ខ្ញុំសរសេរហ្នឹងគឺប្រើប៊ិចពណ៌ខៀវអញ្ចឹង OpenCV វាឃើញប៊ិចពណ៌ខៀវទៅវាឲ្យជា coordinate ដែរអញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំប្រើខ្ញុំ draw
មិនវាអាចខ្ញុំអាចបញ្ចូលបន្ថែមកន្លែងហ្នឹងចង់និយាយថា
ចេះលោកគ្រូតាមពិតខ្ញុំ
ចង់សំដៅទៅលើ point កាមេរ៉ាយើងមកក្នុងវាបញ្ចាប់ជា image អញ្ចឹងដូចកំហុងមិញយកប៊ិចមិនមែនប៊ិចប៊ិចពណ៌ទេតែនិយាយមានកម្រពណ៌ខៀវអញ្ចឹងដល់ពេលដាក់ទៅវាឃើញមូលពណ៌ខៀវហ្នឹងវាចាប់យកថាហ្នឹងវាជារបស់ដែលយើងត្រូវ detect អញ្ចឹងដល់ពេលយើងយកហ្នឹងហើយយកអាហ្នឹងយកទៅគូសទៅវាចាប់ផ្ដើមភ្ជាប់ coordinate តគ្នាទៅវាខ្លាយទៅជា stroke អាហ្នឹងមក data set
យល់ហើយគ្រូ
ចាំគាត់គូលើកណ្ដាលហើយយកទៅដាក់ដើម្បីឲ្យឃើញអាហ្នឹងនៅលើ webcam ឯងគឺយើង detect ជា point ដែល connect ចូលគ្នាជា stroke
តាមពិតខ្ញុំយល់គ្រូប៉ុន្តែខ្ញុំចង់សួរគាត់យល់អត់ចឹងណាគ្រូព្រោះតែតាំងគិតទៅគឺមានន័យថាយើងយកវីដេអូទៅថតហើយថតគឺចាប់ដៃរបស់យើងដែលយើងចុចដៅហ្នឹងពីណាទៅណាហើយយើងចាប់វាជា pattern ហើយចឹងទៅនៅក្នុងវីដេអូហ្នឹងយើងប្រកាសជាធ្វើ image extraction ហើយខ្ញុំចង់អីចឹងទៅលោកគ្រូដែលយើង combine frame មួយទៅលោកគ្រូចឹងអត់ពេលយើងគូសហ្នឹងមិន webcam ថតជាវីដេអូអញ្ចឹងមក frame មាន dot វា dot របស់វាហ្នឹងដល់ពេលហើយយើងមិនត្រូវធ្វើ image processing មួយចំនួនដើម្បី extract pattern ហ្នឹងអញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំចង់និយាយថាតើគាត់យល់ចំណុចហ្នឹងមានន័យថាគាត់ extract ទៅណីហ្នឹងតែយល់ពី process extract ហ្នឹងអត់ខ្ញុំចង់អីចឹងណាគ្រូតែប៉ុណ្្នឹងទេ ហើយគាត់ថាគាត់ប្រើពណ៌ដើម្បីដតដំបូងហ្នឹងគឺដើម្បីឲ្យចាប់ឃើញ webcam ថតទៅឃើញពណ៌បៃតងហ្នឹងគឺចាប់ជា first coordinate ហ្នឹងជា first frame តែតាមពិតខ្ញុំគិតថាទោះបីជាអត់ពណ៌ក៏បានដែរឲ្យតែមានអីចេញពី first frame ហ្នឹងយើងឃើញ detect object អីនៅក្នុង image ហ្នឹងគឺយើងចាប់យក pattern ទៅ next frame រហូតអញ្ចឹងក៏ចង់សួរថាតើនៅក្នុងនេះយើងមានដឹងពី process ក្នុងpattern detection នៅក្នុង image processing ព្រោះតែឡើងហ្នឹងបើសិនឲ្យគិតទៅក៏ជាចំណុចមួយដែលយើងអាច research បានដែរហ្នឹងក៏ខ្ញុំចង់សួរត្រង់នោះមួយទៀតលោកគ្រូបាទមួយទៀតខ្ញុំចង់សួរថាអក្សរទាំងអស់នេះយើង detect តែអក្សរប៉ុណ្្នឹងទេដឹងឬក៏មានដល់អក្សរចុងក្រោយអក្សរ អ
ខ្ញុំ detect បានត្រឹមតែ15ហ្នឹង
អញ្ចឹងអូខេបន្ថែមដូចគ្នាដែរតើតងជាមួយនឹង evaluator accuracy គឺយើងប្រើដូចគ្នាយើងមិនដែរឬក៏មានអីផ្សេង method អីផ្សេងដើម្បីកណនារកភាគរយហ្នឹង
ដូចគ្នា
Okay, that's it for my question. Any other question? Look,
Yes, Paula, Wendy, any question?
ខ្ញុំដូចជាមិនទេលោកគ្រូគាត់សួរច្រើនខ្ញុំដូចជាមិនក៏បាន
ខ្ញុំអត់មានអីបន្ថែមអីបើសួរមុនហើយ
អូខេហ្នឹងហើយណាស់អញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំគ្រាន់តែបន្ថែម comment ចុងក្រោយទេតកតងជាមួយនឹងការងារ research ហ្នឹងដោយសារមែនតើទៅចង់ appreciate ការងាររបស់លីកុងហើយនឹងកំហុងដែរដោយសារមែនតើទៅយើងត្រឹមតែឆ្នាំទី4ទេហើយយើងដឹងហើយក្នុង curriculum របស់យើងឆ្នាំទី4អត់មានហ្នឹងហើយ study អីតកតងជាមួយនឹង research តកតងជាមួយនឹង deep learning neural network អីទេអញ្ចឹងនិយាយទៅគឺ self study ភាគច្រើនហើយនឹងឲ្យយើងជួបជាមួយគ្នាពិភាក្សាគ្នានៅក្នុងម៉ោង research lab របស់យើងហ្នឹងហើយអញ្ចឹងហ្នឹងឲ្យខ្ញុំសូមកោតសរសើរចំពោះសមិទ្ធផលដែលយើងអាច develop ជា prototype មួយដែលអាចផ្ដល់ជា result ឲ្យមើលឃើញអញ្ចឹងណាអញ្ចឹងអាហ្នឹងវាជា achievement មួយដែលហ្នឹងហើយដោយសារមែនតើទៅយើងឃើញ comment របស់លោកគ្រូអ្នកគ្រូលោកគ្រូរបស់យើង provide ឲ្យបានន័យថាវាអាចមានបន្តទៅមុខទៀតដូចជាការប្រើប្រាស់ហៅថា state of the art architecture ដូចជា ResNet ដូចជា VGGNet អីហ្នឹងដែលយើង expect ថានឹងអាច produce result បានល្អហើយយើងអាចមែនតើអាចធ្វើ transfer learning ពី data set នៃភាសាផ្សេងអាចតាក់ទងជាមួយនឹងមិនមែនត្រឹមតែ detect color ណាមួយយើងអាច detect ជា object តែម្ដងណាអាហ្នឹងវាជាថា future possible research ដែលយើងអាចធ្វើបន្តទៀតប៉ុន្តែគ្រាន់តែខ្ញុំចង់បើកវងចោលឡើយនេះថាការងារហ្នឹងគឺជាជំហានដំបូងអញ្ចឹងបានន័យថាគ្នាចាប់ផ្ដើមធ្វើដំបូងគឺជាលក្ខណៈសាកល្បងជាលក្ខណៈ learn ទេអញ្ចឹងយើងចាប់ផ្ដើមពីបន្តិចម្ដងទៅហើយការងារហ្នឹងគឺរយៈពេលតែ2ខែមែនតើដើម្បីធ្វើឲ្យបានទៅជាសមិទ្ធផលមួយហ្នឹងអញ្ចឹងបានន័យថាខ្ញុំគិតថាវាជាresult មួយដែលគួរឲ្យ appreciate ណាព្រោះឲ្យយើងរយៈពេលខ្លីហើយយើងអត់ធ្លាប់មានបទពិសោធន៍ខាង research ហ្នឹងប៉ុន្តែយើងអាច achieve បាន result បែបហ្នឹងខ្ញុំមាន
ខ្ញុំក៏សរសើរដែរលោកគ្រូបាទព្រោះតែដោយសារតែតើតើនឹង convolutional neural network ហ្នឹងវាទាមទារឲ្យយើង understand mathematics ហ្នឹងយ៉ាងខ្លាំងដែរប៉ុន្តែដូចនិយាយអញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំ suggest ថាបើសិនជាសិក្សាហ្នឹងយើងដាក់ចិត្តព្យាយាមសិក្សាពី first step ទៅដល់ upper ឬក៏ higher level step អញ្ចឹងទៅ higher level ខ្ញុំអត់ចង់ថាយើងប្រើតែ tool របស់គេស្រាប់តែគេនិយាយថាហ្នឹង convolutional neural network អានេះប្រើចេះយើងតាមតែគេដាក់លើ TensorFlow ចេញមក result អត់ចង់ដឹងថាអូខេឥឡូវវិចិត្រហ្នឹងទាំងមូលហ្នឹងធ្វើដល់ recognition ហ្នឹងដំបូងធ្វើអី collect data ថតរូបភាពទៅធ្វើម៉េចដើម្បីថតអា air ហ្នឹងបានហើយធ្វើម៉េច extract បានអញ្ចឹងយើងមានជា step អញ្ចឹងអាហ្នឹងមានថាយើង fully understand ហើយនៅពេលដែលដល់កន្លែងចំណុច model ហ្នឹងយើងអាចចាប់ដើមធ្វើ research ថែមទៀតជួនកាលបើសិនជាយើងមាន data set គ្រប់គ្រាន់ហើយ algorithm ជាច្រើនដែលគេធ្លាប់ធ្វើហ្នឹងអាចយកមកធ្វើ recognize បានนั่นคือខ្ញុំគិតថាក៏ល្អដែរតែគាត់បាន start ធ្វើប៉ុណ្ណឹង
Okay. So any more comments from the jury? Okay, so I think
this is the end of today's session. Thank you very much for all the presenters and also all the juries for your questions. So yes, we will meet again tomorrow from 9 a.m. Okay, yeah. Okay, so yes, we can end today's session now.
Thank you, teacher.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.